All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I believe somebody dropped off already. I mean, geez, we didn't even get into any conversation yet. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday. Welcome back to another week on The Real Practice. I appreciate you guys for being here. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you choose to be here. So I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. I see the chat is already on and popping in the chat. If you guys haven't already, definitely hit the like button. Just hit that thumbs up outside of the live chat. You'll see a thumbs up button. Hit that button. It will trigger the algorithm to have more people join in on the conversation. I am going to be dropping the link as I always do on Monday. So if you'd like to join the conversation, you're more than welcome. But before we get to the chat and those people that are supporting us, how is my co-host, the actual King Smith, doing this evening?
Yo, I'm doing well. My daughter turned 17 yesterday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. All right, girl. All right, Castle. Happy birthday to you, love.
Thanks. I will pass that to her. And I'm doing well. I just got off of my live stream with my lady, Michelle, and just glad to be here as always.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you for always being here, being very committed to this Monday night show. Thank you. Thank you. And happy birthday again, Castle. I hope you had a great birthday. And you have a birthday coming up yourself, King. So y'all are back to back.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Mr. 40?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you doing anything special for your birthday?
Going to Virginia Beach. So if you need to pull up.
Birthday reunion was actually last weekend in Virginia Beach. I wasn't there because I was in New Orleans, but we were literally just there. Well, enjoy. I hope you have a great time.
Thank you, ma'am.
How are you this evening?
You talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, doing fine. Doing fine.
Good.
Hanging in there. Anxious to talk about whatever this topic is about OnlyFans models and all that kind of good stuff.
All right. Well,
and husbands and OnlyFans models is kind of strange combination.
We'll get into it. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much for being here, Arpane. Sean, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, how you doing?
Sean is viewing where it is 3 hours behind, so it's still daylight wherever he is.
Yes, it is.
Tarika, thank you so much for being here. She says, evening, everyone. Please hit the like button as you come in. Yes, please hit that like button. We would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, support the Cash App if you so ever desire. Jeffrey, thank you so much for being here. Good evening, Sister Precious, the panel, the chat, and the mods. I swear he has us saved in a memo somewhere because he always comments that. And I thank you for always being here supporting us. Quincy is in the building. Good evening, good people. Thank you so much for being here, Quincy. Bless up, Precious. Mods in the chat. I see Arpane is in the chat as well. Good evening, everyone. Jeffrey is giving some shout outs to everyone. Tay Ford, thank you so much for being here. Sean is also in the chat. Champ Talk Reaction says, hey, you're so no. So Quincy is also here saying happy birthday and blessings. Yes, the big 40. He's turning the 4-0. Harrison Davis says, salute. Have a good show. Thank you so much. I hope you are sticking around to watch it. If you'd like to join in, definitely join in, or just help us along in the chats. All right. So I know everyone has seen the breaking news of Joe Biden pretty much endorsing for Kamala Harris to run for presidency. And a lot of people, or a lot of different media outlets were, and even radio, I was hearing this past weekend, was saying it was because of his age. And we all know that Joe is getting up there. There was also a post about him having, COVID-19. So I wanted to play this clip, and then I wanted to get you guys' opinions on exactly what is happening right now at this moment in politics and where we stand. Thank you so much for being here. I see Lester says enjoying the snow. I hope it's show because it's hot as I don't know what out here. Okay. All right.
Conversation with Frank Biden, one of President Biden's two younger brothers. And here's what he told us. He said, I'm incredibly proud of my brother. Selfishly, I will have him back to enjoy whatever time we have left. He is a genuine hero. Country over self. It sounds corny in our cynical political environment, but he nor I are cynical. The goal remains the same: defeat Trump and continue the work that Joe has done. My hope is that our party rallies around this heroic act. We asked him whether he feels that his brother's overall health and vitality played a major role in this decision, and he says, in my humble opinion, absolutely. So a member of the president's family now confirming that the president's health was indeed a major factor in this decision, and calling his brother a hero for making the decision to pass the torch to Kamala Harris.
So, Nancy, sorry, can you clarify that the family is saying his health was or was not a factor?
He's saying that in his humble opinion, yes, the president's health and vitality played a considerable role in his decision. It's important to note Frank Biden is not speaking for the family writ large. This was simply a conversation between CBS News and Frank Biden. Unclear how much input he had in this decision, but he says that he believes that his brother's health did play a role, and he says that the goal remains the same: to defeat Donald Trump.
Well, that is notable because to date, the family, the White House, the establishment has rejected the premise that there was anything that was challenging the president's mental acuity or his health, and that all these accusations were baseless, that it was just age and a few, difficult nights like he had on the debate stage. So that is a change in message.
So, that reporter is acting, I don't know if it's oblivious or if she's just
She's disingenuous.
Right. If she's just going off of what she's hearing in other, streams of media. But it's like, come on.
Just the word's disingenuous. She's lying. She's disingenuous, and she's disgraced to what she's doing. Everybody knows he left because he first of all, and I'm gonna be real quick. I know this is not the thing. If he can't run for president, he should step down altogether.
Right. Right. But with his age, of them saying it's his age, okay, his age, but we all know that he has been having issues with the speeches that he's been given, the debate that he had against Trump. Biden just doesn't seem coherent, and everyone has been saying Biden needs to step down. Then they say he comes out with COVID-19, but they need to be honest and say that it's his health, because who wants to have someone that's unhealthy being, the president of the United States? Now, Sean, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
With Kamala Harris now being endorsed by Biden and quite a few other people at this point, how do you guys think the election is going to go now with with Trump and Kamala being the running mates? Do you think that it changes anything?
Yes, absolutely. It changes everything.
Mhm.
Now, how it changes is yet to be determined. I'm waiting to see how it plays out. My first gut is that it's possibly not a good advantage for the party, the Democratic Party, simply because there are certain things that are challenging or going to be challenged. We like to act as if there's not a significant concern with this country's and its past history with elected officials that are women, one, and elected officials that are African American women in that position, two. But that is a concern that I think we might gloss over. We might be able to try and spin it, but it's definitely something historically that has always challenged um, not only this party but this country.
I can still hear you guys. My light just went out. Okay, so King, what do you think about that?
What's the specific question?
About Kamala and Trump running against each other. Does it really change anything?
I'm not entirely too sure Kamala's gonna get the Democratic nod. And like I started thinking, I'm not a political science guy, right? So this isn't my strong suit. But I started thinking, and I'm like, wait, when we voted a couple of weeks back, right? It was Biden on the ticket. So I'm trying to figure out how the Democratic Party is going to present someone that the people, when it comes back to the general elections, are going to then go to the polls and rally behind the name that our current president is endorsing, who's our current vice president. Now, again, not a political science guy, but I think that there are some other candidates that if it was known that it was going to get to this point, Kamala wouldn't be the strongest front runner in that party. So I wouldn't be surprised if, and we're less than 3 months away. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else becomes the front runner that they think could galvanize people to the polls to vote for that party.
Can I go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
Listen, I hear you. Let me tell you, the biggest mistake, and if I was a Trump supporter, I would hope they do this. If Kamala Harris is not the nominee, you have never heard, and you're going to find out exactly what an angry black woman stands for. And they're going to make so much noise. I'm talking about so much noise. It's going to disrupt the whole party. You just couldn't. You can't. You have to be able to anticipate that. And don't, even though they're 7% of the population, they're going to make 50% of the noise. You should see what happened when it's just the possibility of her becoming president. Every Divine Nine, all the women, they were having conference calls from the beginning. If she is not the nomination, nominee, forget about it. Now, here's where the disingenuous stuff comes in from Biden. And this is why they're so adamant on not saying that he's unfit to be president. He didn't step down. He's just said he's not running, but he wants to fulfill his office. If he wanted to do her a solid, he would step down and relinquish his office to her. So she's the incumbent president for the rest of this term. And she could go ahead and, try to get renominated. You know what I'm saying? That'll put her in a position of strength because she'll have those 4 months. It wouldn't even be a question. She would still have to get the nomination, but she'd be sitting in her office as president. But he wasn't going to do that. But he's incompetent right now. There's a cabal of people running the country.
Can they do that though?
Yeah. Well, he could step down. He could abdicate. Yeah. Of course, if they could vote the 25th, he damn sure could step down as president, but he'd have to admit that he's unfit to fulfill his duties. And he doesn't want to do that.
He did in this interview talking with his brother who spoke with.
But when you saw what happened at the end, right? The official family line is that's not why he's stepping down for a nominee. His brother said that, but not his family advisors. That was what she said at the end.
Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that you're making, Payne. And we have yet to have him speak, so I'm sure he's deliberating how to approach it, and that will also be determined. And that's why I said I'm waiting to see how this all plays out, because that's a very relevant point that you're making in reference to having that transition go a little smoother in favor of Kamala. Now, to your point that you made in reference to the Black women or women in general, I hear that, and the noise never mattered. It matters to us. It matters to, we are sensitive to it, but this country is really not.
Maybe you might have a point, but the party might be. Especially in the swing states. Especially in the swing states.
I hear you, but I don't think we have. I'm glad that we have a lot more leverage and a lot more noticeability as a people, as Black women in general, as women in general. We have a lot bigger voice, and it is heard a lot clearer. But the nature of this country, that never really mattered.
I hear you. Listen, you could be right. I'm not arguing the point. But let me tell you, the most coddled woman besides the white woman is the Black woman in this country. And they keep playing that victim card and shit. One of the most coddled women in this whole West is the Black American woman. They get everything. It's Black girl magic up to wazoo. That's why they're getting into all these positions. Have you noticed? They're getting AGs, mayors. They're getting elected like, I don't even know who's running against them. They get positions everywhere. So they are moving up, man. I'm telling you, you got $10 billion promise from a corporation. Let's not act like they ain't getting nothing.
And Payne, I'm acknowledging that, but also let's look clearly at and acknowledge that a couple of those positions, they still had a white husband. And that's something that I never like to bring up and bring to attention. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't like bringing that to our attention. But in having a real conversation, that is something that has to be considered. Not to say that is a major point, but we overlooked that. The point is that
what's the point about the white husband?
The point is because this country is predominantly run by white men.
Okay.
And especially politics in this country. Now, I will say we actually have more influence than we give ourselves credit, being Black men, women, and minorities in general. But we sometimes overlook the actual power dynamic simply to feel better. But the power dynamic, while it has changed, it hasn't changed much, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. It depends on who you're talking to. I certainly don't overlook the power dynamic. But as far as Black women in high places wanting Black men, let me tell you, man, there's a significant amount of Black women have long since divested themselves mentally from Black men. All you got to do is be around the internet anywhere. You can hear that. So if they can find themselves a zaddy, that's where they're going. They just not being chosen. You know, so anyway, but I hear what you're saying. I really don't disagree. I mean, you know, that we got to temper everything we say. But let me tell you, you know, a whole bunch of screaming black women ain't good for the party in the next 4 months. It wouldn't be. You let them try. You let them try to win swing states when the black female is on a rampage. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think she raised about 80 million already, and it was just announced on.
I think it's even more than that now. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a record. I just heard about that today, and that's a record, and I commend it. But again, media has very significant, you know, influence, and that is something that naturally, if you look at the details, it's not uncommon, seeing that she probably has also received some of the money that was forfeited through him bowing out. So you spin it and you make it look as if it's because that helps the story go along, because everybody knew that the resistance of the change was going to be something significant, so they had to endure the blow. And part of enduring the blow is creating a narrative that things are happening in a miracle, and all of the endorsements and everybody who's supporting her, as if that matters. If you think about it, Hillary had all of the same people supporting her, and she failed because of this exactly point that I'm trying to make.
But your point, Sean, is all the money that he raised automatically goes to her, and she's the only person that money could go to by law. She's the only one who could use the campaign money he already raised.
And I don't know it that well, like King said, but I do know publicity and publicity stunts, and I understand it, and I understand how media skews the narrative in order to make us believe and make us understand and make us have hope and basically control us. And you know, that's part of the concern that I'm speaking to, is that it sounds good. You know, it sounded good when Jay-Z, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, etc. were endorsing Hillary. And what I think failed Hillary is that she became too arrogant and too overconfident and stopped really going directly to the sources, whereas Donald Trump actually did go to sources. And one of the prime examples of that was when Donald Trump, despite them liking him, was in Detroit, inside the black neighborhoods, inside the black churches, literally speaking to them, and Hillary skipped over Detroit, thinking that she had it in the bag.
Cool.
I don't know. With I wonder if there would be, you know, definitely a spike in female participation in the polls, Black women participation in the polls. I just have a lot of those questions, because it definitely does shift things now. I mean, the conversation was always, oh my goodness, we have these two people, Biden and Trump, and we don't like one of them, you know. And now it's, oh, well, Harris is being endorsed to be president now, and so that shifts the conversation. So I think within the next couple of months, we're just going to see a lot of crazy things happen, including, you know, hundreds upon hundreds of flights being canceled because, you know, there's a cyber attack. There's a lot going on. And I think we just really need to keep a close eye on things and not necessarily be so caught up in some of this other conversation that we're going to get into, but we get into that.
And I just want to say,
I own some of that stock from that company, CrowdStrike.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, man.
Wow.
All the way down that day.
Yeah, I was so lucky for me. I was up big, so you know, I don't have that much of it. So,
all right.
And I just want to say, we got to acknowledge how big of a topic this is, because we have Black Dave up with us in the house. He's joining us. You know, it has something that is touching the hearts and spirits of America. What's up, though, Black Dave?
Good evening.
I see Hank up there too.
CBN, there might be something going on.
Yeah, you got something. You got some noise in the background, CBN.
Yeah, that's my kid.
Your audio sounds like secondary. Yeah, sounds like it's in the background. Hank, how are you this evening, sir?
How y'all doing today? Tonight,
Doing good, doing good.
Right on. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. This is the political. We've been political all weekend. Shout out to politics.
Just opening up the conversation with this. For a couple of days we've been hearing that Biden is stepping down because of his age, and his brother comes out in an interview, I believe with CNN, and tells them it's because of his health. And so, I pretty much was asking, what do you guys think is going to be the shift, or what are the differences now that Kamala is being endorsed to be the president? What do you think about that, and what shifts do you think we're going to see, other than we got Biden and Trump, and I don't see either one of them. Maybe a woman. She's not fully black, but there's some black up in there somewhere. She's still a melanated sister. So it's just going to be a shakeup of new emotions. There may be new voters. There may be a different type of voter. So just getting you guys' opinion on that. We just opened up.
Yeah, I think the country's going to look at us as a joke. Mm-hmm. We had a joke for 4 years now. If we have her, it gets worse. It's all downhill. Mm-hmm. I don't know why we always throw the white flag and we accept everybody. Kamala doesn't claim to be black, so why are we claiming her ass? She doesn't claim to be black, man. She doesn't. She don't want to. Her last opportunity to be black was when she left Montel Williams.
Ooh,
she was a side piece, so a number two. So once she did that, I think all her card should have been snatched from her and never given back. Now she's got that beautiful white man. Nothing against that. I don't care if that's your thing. That's your thing, right? It's all good. But her being a female, the country's not going to take it serious. They're not going to take it serious. They didn't take Biden serious. They knew it was a joke, man. The Democrats had I'd say over 12 years, really, because we all knew once Obama got reelected, he was done. So y'all knew once he was reelected, they should have been making a plan the day after his inauguration. What is the plan for the next 4 years after him? Well, they came down the road, dropped the ball, and didn't do anything. And that's how Trump got elected. It so happens, he feels like he was cheated. I don't know if he was cheated or not. I don't take that stance, but he didn't get reelected. He got beat out by Biden. Well, Biden made a lot of promises that he's like normal. Most politicians, they don't keep. He promised to help the economy. Not only that, he also promised to forgiveness of student loans. More than 70% of the country has student loans. So that resonated when he said that. He banked on a promise. He also challenged your black card by saying you're not black if you don't vote for him. And you know what happens when black folks get challenged? They want to take it. They want to accept the challenge. And they want to run with the flag of challenge. And somehow we always end up on the bad end of that challenge stick. And that's what happens. Unfortunately, y'all are not the only ones that vote for Biden. My sorry ass voted for Biden too. So I apologize to American people for me voting for Biden. That was partly my fault. I have to take accountability, and I take all criticisms that come my way. Because I too thought I was going to be financially benefited by helping me and my ex-wife out by killing her student loans. And he did no such thing. He sold me some wolf tickets, sold me a bag of goods, and now I'm left. Now I think I'm not left with. She's left hanging with the bag. Shame on you, Biden. Shame on you. And I'm gonna leave it there.
Well, all right. CBN, I didn't hear you if you were talking. I'm not quite sure if your audio. No, we can't hear you. No. So guys, thank you so much for joining. If you're just joining, hit that like button. I do want to thank the 2 people who have sent cash apps. Let's see. Stacy, thank you so much for the $10 cash app. I appreciate you. Thank you. As well as there's another lucky person in here. Harrison Davis, thank you so much for the $10 cash app. I appreciate you. Thank you. You guys hit that like button. We are just starting the show off talking about Kamala Harris and Biden, his health.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Oh, sorry about that. I had to pop out the headphone. I would say that it's hard to get behind Hank because he dropped a lot of bombs. I'm like, God damn, I wanted to vote differently. But how am I going to do that? For one, she didn't go to the black media to explain what her agenda is. I never trust her, not one bit. She's half Indian, half, whatever. For the past 12 years, more like shut down our throat because let's not forget Hillary hijacked the Democratic Party during the primary to make sure my guy, Bernie Sanders, never win to begin with. So when I saw that, I was like, there's no point of voting again. It became useless. So when you pick between an old ad dude and a con artist, which I'm from New York, I don't ever trust Trump, not in a million years. So what dare to vote for? Then we had Biden, who wrote the crime bill, which I never forgave him for that. But so why should I vote for him again after that? Now his old ad couldn't make it no more because he knew he couldn't make it. He dragged it on for too long. Then he shut down our throat the worst possible replacement. Another con artist. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I think most politicians are con artists, honestly, if you ask me. I think most of them,
there's no doubt about that.
I don't think I think that's part of the job description. But no, I hear everything that you're saying. And so we'll see how the cookie crumbles because I think that it's again, I think things are going to shift, but I think like King said that we are kind of a laughing stock. People are looking like
kind of.
We are. But like I said, Trump, I consider him a reality TV star. I know he was president. But I just think that the presidency is just a stage for a lot of the effery, it's one of those stages. Is definitely not a stage that I would want to stand on. Honestly, I wouldn't want to be the president of the United States. I mean, we talk about children and raising them and things of that nature. Would you encourage your child to one day want to be the president of the United States?
Yeah, of course. I want to be president. Shit.
Hell no.
I want to be president. I'd be a good president.
Okay.
Let me put it like this. The seats for presidency.
Hey, we be in the same boat we in now. Why the hell we need your old ass up there?
Hey, listen, old men are in. Shit. We got an 81. They got 15 years on me, man. Shoot. They got a lot of years. I'm young compared to nobody.
Old men are in.
Yeah, shoot.
He said old men are in. I know that's right.
Old men are in there.
True. Who was speaking? Was that CBN? Were you speaking, CBN?
That was me speaking. I was trying to say it's kind of like when you had Trump enter that office, he made a complete mockery of that seat completely because one, during the 4 years he was in the office, the thing that's saying out of his mouth, and you have people that's going along with it, it has made it feel like, what's the point of being a president when you can put jackasses in these seats and make a complete fool of themselves? That's one. Stupid policy, that's two. Then on an international stage, it made it far worse. This is what I'm saying. A lot of people don't really comprehend the magnitude of ramification of putting such people in office. What's going on outside the U.S., I don't think people understand. When you have that person in the seat making such judgment, making such statement, it shifts things around. You may not think it's not a big deal, but when they start to act the way they act, then you start to realize why certain nations, certain countries are saying, "Nah, we're done with you guys." I understand working with those type of people because I used to have relatives who working up to that particular level, and I see when it comes to policy making, thing you say out of your mouth, thing you do, you have a negative effect or you have a positive effect. For the past 12 years, you just reinforced why so many nations don't want no collaboration with the United States for a lot of reasons.
Mm.
Now, the fact that this thing going on, you made it too obvious. There should be no intervention of any such coming from the U.S. Because they're going to hold it over our head for the next 3 or 4 decades. They're like, nah, don't come and say you want to shut down this presidency or you want to check this person, you want to check that person when you're going to check your own.
Mm.
I don't follow society norm for a lot of reasons. I look at what they do and see how much effect it affects on the inside and on the outside. And when you do such thing and want to act like you had nothing to do about it, then you got a problem.
Mm.
Oh.
Mm.
All right.
We'll get into some of these comments and then we're going to move on from this, which is supposed to be a little bit of an opener.
Okay.
Trey Ferg, thank you so much for being here. He says, if you have a student loan, you better get in your application to cancel before he is out of office. Have 30 days till application closes. I hope your ex-wife sees that. I
had to pay mine off by working it off.
He also says, yes, he could step down. However, there will never be a black woman telling white men what to do.
Oh, man, that's crazy. The black man, she's telling her husband what to do right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marcus says, no woman has a place to run in Oval Office and represent the USA bases logically. He also says the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Is just basic math. Great business needs to look at the majority, not minorities of issues. Frenchie K says, Trump is an entertainer to me. That's all I've ever seen him as to. I will say if Kamala has competent black women in her corner, she has a fighter's chance. Well, let me tell you, I got a link to get on the a call last night. I didn't do it because I was doing other things, but there was a call where
yeah, Black David, wasn't that funny?
It's funny when she say that way.
There was like 4,000 people on there. Then you couldn't get on a call. Then you needed another link to get on a call. But they, I believe that there are going to be a lot. Like I said, it's going to be a shift in how people are voting.
Is that an AKA call or something?
It might as well have been. But yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a shift in voters, whether they're educated about what's going on or not, just because of what's going on.
Wow.
Here we go.
Yep, I agree.
So, yeah. All right. We're going to ease on down the road here. So there's a video that I saw, and I wasn't going to play it, but I want to play it with you guys up here because I want to get your opinion. In today's world, we talk about dating. We talk about, the men's role in dating and that and things of that nature. But this guy is saying something that there may be some guys who relate to it, and then there may be some guys that's like, well, what in the world is he talking about? So we're going to get into this.
And we're walking to my car and I'm driving. If we're coming from the driver's side, I'm not going to go around to open your door.
Oh, why?
Because could you not get it?
What?
Could you get it? Could you open your door?
I mean, I could.
Perfect. But I am going to be very thoughtful with other things, like things that are practical.
Whoa. Okay, so if I can do something for myself, then you don't feel you need to do it.
I feel that by me opening the door for you, I'm being sincere when I say this, it feels manipulative. It feels like I'm only doing this to show you, look at how good of a guy I am. I'm getting the door for you. But it feels silly to me. If we're coming from your side, I'll get it on the way. Butt your head, enjoy yourself, enjoy the ride. But if we're coming from, and I'm walking all the way around, I feel like I'm lying to you. Because I don't want to do that. So I don't do things I don't want. If you said to me, hey, it makes me feel loved if you open the car door, I would do it for you. But traditionally, I'm not buying flowers, really. I'm not opening the car door. I'm usually disrespectful to their parents. I don't consider her feelings. If she comes, that's on her. But yeah, I think I'm romantic.
Okay. All right. I don't know what to say to that one. I guess chivalry is dead?
No. Chivalry has been redefined.
All right. So how old do y'all think that he is? Because he says chivalry has been redefined.
He's my age group.
Mid-40s.
You say your age group, mid-40s?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think about what he said?
I'll go first. What I'm thinking is, you're not a traditional woman, stop acting for traditional men. Straight up. Stop the bullshit. I am beyond sick and tired of being sick and tired. A huge majority of women are modernized women, but want men to be traditional. Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Wait. So
No, because I noticed something about women. They want men to be traditional, but never say you tell them to be traditional. Why you want a man to open a door for you? Why should he? Traditional men belong to traditional women. If you're not a traditional woman, do not expect a man to be traditional. Straight up. Let's stop the bullshit.
Well, we don't know what she is because she said about 5 words, right? We don't. Do you think that there was an age gap in between how old he is and how old she is?
Regardless of the age gap, it has to do with the ideology.
Mm-hmm.
That is the issue. Because for far too long, we have been told we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to do this, we have to do that, but never them.
Okay, so you're in agreement with what he's saying. You're saying that chivalry has been defined.
1,000,000%. I do agree.
Okay.
Unless you are a traditional woman and you carry yourself as such, then I will treat you as such. What you put in is what you put out. Straight up.
Well, he's not quite saying that. You're saying that if you're traditional, I'll treat you traditional, right? Mm-hmm. He's saying
it have been modified.
Parents, if you come, you come. If I'm on that side of the car, I'll open it for you. If I'm not, I'm not gonna open it.
Pretty much. So it's saying at the world turn, it is what it is. Pretty much.
Right. In the turn, it is what it is. So in saying that, he's not basing it off if the woman is traditional or not, or it could have been he could be referring to that, and we're just not hearing that, and you're saying that because I think that there has been men who have had this traditional way of doing things. Because they run into a lot of women who haven't been raised to necessarily be able to receive a man who does those things for her, then, you know, they're trying to use him and they're trying to whatever. So you're saying it is what it is. If you're not traditional, you're not going to get this traditional treatment. I mean, I understand adapting. I think we said this before, but I just believe that a man, you know, if it's in you to be who you are, you're going to be who you are. You're not, society and everything else is not going to necessarily change that for you. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. But men, you know, y'all gonna move how y'all gonna move. But I just believe that the character and who you are, no matter what's going on in the world, you're still gonna be who you are. You know what I mean? Of course, you're gonna be careful with who you give it to and who you know share that with. But I just don't believe in, you know.
So let me jump in there. Real quick. Let me jump in there real quick. Yeah, you're right, Precious. I don't think traditional plays a part. He just reminds me of a guy who's not hungry for putty, right? He looks like he's knows his way around women. He don't give a shit how she feels. That's cool. I like guys like that. You know, hey, listen, if I'm on the side of the door and you're right there and the door's unlocked, open the goddamn door and get in. You know, now, you know, if you know, the sex part, okay. You know, it depends on if I thought I did a good job and you didn't get yours. You know, shit, man, I was working hard, man. Shit, what were you doing while I was doing all this shit? You know what I'm saying? If you ain't get yours, you know, then you got next. If I have another chance, you got to tell me what I need to do. Because if I'm over here sweating and shit, and you know, I put in some good work, and you over here looking like, oh shit, man, I'm unsatisfied. Well, wait a minute, honey. I gave you ample time to get your shit off. You know, so that's a case by case basis. You know, but other than that, you know, I'm not doing any extra shit for you. I mean, come on. You know, a guy who has scarcity mindset, he's going to be a puppy dog for a woman like that. You know, this guy doesn't seem like that, so he's my man. I would give him a high five and shit if I was there with him. So, yeah, good man, good man, good man.
Wow, that's funny. I mean, the way I see it is, there's a lot of selfishness that is going on within relationships, and he's acknowledging that. And he's acknowledging that he is selfish, and he's acknowledging why he's selfish, and this is the double standard that continues happening. Is you can be selfish, but I can't be selfish, and he's tired of doing that. So he's being honest, open, and transparent about I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to stop playing the game and stop doing the things that I'm doing just for you. Key point. He also acknowledged if you ask for that, I would provide that. But he said as well, I'm not just gonna go around here doing all of these extra things that to the point that was made a second ago that you're not willing to do as well.
Is that what was said? He said he's not going to do it because she doesn't want to do it.
No, she didn't say that. That's extra.
Okay. Hank, did you want to go on this one?
I think.
I'm sorry.
I think our pain lying. His ass gonna walk his crippled ass over, open that goddamn door for his old lady every time.
I'm married. I'm a simp for my
wife. I know. Shit, you better open that goddamn door. I know that.
You know what? I might be guilty for that one, man. She opens a lot of doors, man. I swear to God. She opens a lot of doors for herself. I gotta be honest.
It's gonna be another argument you're gonna lose. You already know what it is. So open that goddamn door. Look
she don't expect that from me, brother Hank.
I got you. I understand.
If we go into a restaurant or something, I open the door, pull out the chairs and stuff like that. But the car door, I'm delinquent. Like I'm delinquent like hell.
Okay. That's right. I got you. Look at that guy doesn't do it because he seems like an incel type guy, so he doesn't think about it. He doesn't. He's more worried to get in there so he can get to order his number 2 from McDonald's. That's what he's looking for. He's not looking to do anything to appease her, because he's lucky just to get a woman. So he doesn't know how to act because he was never shown. He never had any experience. So that's the way he responds and carries on. So it is what it is. So his mama probably thought he was going to be gay, and then come find out he got a girlfriend, and now nobody really taught her how to treat him, because he just had no sense of understanding. Now, what should have happened was he should have learned by watching his father do it. I know that's what I did with my son. And whenever we was all together, I made my son open a door for his mama. I didn't have to do it. My son doing it. Why? Because he needed to learn how to do what he needed to do. It doesn't matter. He sometimes he got mad, upset with that. Well, you switch. It's not my wife. I don't give a damn. That's your mama. You need to learn. And so that's what we do. The father teaches him. So, like I said, the parents probably thought he was gonna be girly man and wasn't gonna be into girls. That little girl home said, "Mom and Dad from college, I got a girlfriend." And so he was never taught anything because they didn't know what to expect from him. So now you got this. What you see right there? That's what you got. He's glad just to have a girl. Now he's talking slick, but I bet you he does everything he's supposed to do. I bet he opened doors, brings her flowers. He does everything. He's just talking right now. He just talking real big because he got his little podcast because he's feeling himself and got a decent looking woman on the show. But his ass doing everything he's supposed to do.
But my thing is, so he said he's not going to do it, but if she asks, he'll do it.
That's the key word right there. If she asks, he'll do it. So he's saying all this. He's trying to be showing us bravado and all that, like what our Payne tried to do. But then all of a sudden he met her. Well, I'll pull out a chair. I do this. I do that. Yeah, we know. You could don't open that goddamn door and be happy.
Well, that part right there too, Precious, that you brought up, that's the part that makes me think that this guy's full of shit and he's really not genuine, because he started that earlier by talking about he's not gonna do things just because he feel like it's what's the word to use? Manipulating. But then he goes on to say, but then if you ask me to, I'll do it. Couldn't that be a form of the manipulation that this dude's trying to avoid or watch out for? That's how I see it. So I think he's just talking to say shit and he's full of shit.
even if she asked him, he probably should have gave his full definition or explanation just like he gave right on the show. Yeah, I don't want to open your door, baby. And this is the reason why, because I feel like it's a form of manipulation, and that's not what I'm into. So that's why I don't open your doors, and I can't open it now. So I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's interesting because I think we all are hitting on a point. I think that he really is just trying. He don't like doing all of this stuff because he feels like it's an extra task or deed, and he don't really want to do that. But at the same, so he's putting up all these excuses of why he can't, and then he, as we all noticed, puts a disclaimer. But if you ask, I'll do it. So basically, he trying to manipulate his way out of doing some duties that he feels obligated to that he don't want to do no more.
Yeah. You asked. That's, I mean, I don't know. I think that men that, sound like him and talk like him is, they're not going to, the Bible talks about being with a tightwad, right? And a lot of people, and I always have this conversation with my friend, a lot of people think that, or it gives off the impression that it's talking about money. But I always equated to not just money, but what would you freely give me? Like that doesn't even cost money. You know what I mean? And if you want to be a tightwad with those things, then money is going to be a whole nother, just going to be another thing that you're going to be a tightwad with. And I'm not saying that men should just be pouring money out on women and just making it rain. But what I'm saying is that if you have a generous heart, that's going to come in. That's going to show through all things. Just like a woman who has a servant's heart, that's going to show through all things. You could tell if a woman is just trying to get you for your money, or she, truly likes you. Frenchie K says, is chivalry earned or should it be given based off of who you are?
I think it should just be given based on who you are. I'll say this. More recently, I went and visited some family members of mine who were elderly and widows. And I remember one of them was a widow for quite some time. And when I went towards the door to open it for her, she was going to reach for it herself. And I said, "You're not used to having a man around." And she said, "Well, you know what? You're kind of right." I apologize. I said, "It's okay. I understand." And I opened the door and let her in the car. And it had nothing to do with what she asked or what I thought she wanted. It was just what I felt was necessary and what I felt obligated to. So to your point, is what we feel.
Okay. So it should be given based off of who you are. Yeah, because it definitely, I like the example you just gave, because it doesn't have to be just a gesture between a man and a woman who are, romantically engaged, like Hank was saying, hey, open the door for your mom. Like, this is what you're going to do out of respect, and to show that you care for her. So when he says, I'm not doing that, and then it goes on to other things, again, tightwad. He said he didn't, if I'm on that side, I'm on that side. If I'm not, I'm not. If we're being romantic and you get yours, like those are things that women have to look out for men, where it's just like, okay, what kind of relationship we're going to be in here where we're serving one another? Because it don't sound like you want to serve me. It sounds like you want to just do your own thing, and if I'm here, I'm here. If I'm not, I'm not. You're okay. It's like a take it or leave it type of thing. And so I like that comment. Should it be given to certain people or earned? And I think that men in today's society, they definitely measure what they're going to give freely. You know what I mean? So, and I can definitely understand that. But I think that some men are just changing who they are totally because of things that happened in the past. And it's like, have you learned from it, or have you not learned from it? Because if you learn from it, you shouldn't be scared of it happening again. If you learn, from it, if you truly learn from it. Did everybody go on this one? Chivalry is outdated and expired. Men are exhausted in being a gentle giant. Good night, all. Exhausted. Men are exhausted in being a gentle giant. So what y'all gonna be now? The big bad bears? Like, when you say men are exhausted in being a gentle giant, I understand what you mean by that. However, what does that now make you? What does that now turn you into if you're exhausted of being a gentle giant? Does it turn you into a monster? Does it turn you into lazy? Does it turn you into not doing anything? Does it turn you into not dating? Does it turn into just not trying to find love whatsoever because you're so exhausted? What does this turn into for men?
How would I say this? In some case, it makes certain men to keep to themselves and just go about their business, or how you want people to they on their purpose, until it draws someone who wants to be under the same program he's going after. Because let's be honest, for the past couple of decades, men have been trying to find love, men trying to be the gentleman, men trying to do X, Y, and D. You try to level up and go above and beyond, do what you need to do. But when you're looking at the amount of sacrifice you put in,
CBN, I don't mean to interrupt you, but is there music playing in your background?
No, there shouldn't be no music at all. No, there's no music. You hear any music in the background?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. That's my fault. I had a phone in my hand. I forgot about that. When you see men making a lot of sacrifices for women, and it's almost like there's nothing in return, they have to question themselves, why should I do so much for a person if the same person I'm doing it for, then I can do the same in return? It's like you need to balance out the scale. Don't expect a man to go above and beyond, but you're not going to do the same for the man. Then we had the sprinkle movement, where we teach women how to scam men out of their sacrifice, which we end up getting the drizzle moment right after, which is comical. I find it laughable, but it's a way of saying we'll put a mirror in your face and let you know this is how you guys are acting, so we will do the same act you were doing. So most guys who understand what's going on don't want to be bothered anymore. They rather keep to themselves and keep to their peace, unless they come across someone who relate to what they're doing or want to be under their program and understand that mission they're going after. Just to save them a lot of headache instead of going out there in that muddy pool, what I call the dating pool.
Okay, so men are just keeping to themselves. They're not going into the pool that got piss in it. There's no reciprocity, so why even try anymore? Well, we are being careful and meticulous with our money, energy, assets, and time. Which
guard your meat. Guard your meat.
I mean, it makes sense, but my thing
is CGA and the fellow free agents out there.
Can we have a merch for that? Someone need to make a merch of that one right there. That is merch quality right there.
You're saying you're being careful. I mean, you should have always did that. So, there had to, I mean, both parties have to admit, like, at some point you probably lost your way trying to flex, trying to, do things that you probably shouldn't have, trying to impress the wrong type of girl. And wasting your time, your resources, your energy, all that good stuff. And places where you just shouldn't have been, doing it at. I mean, yes, you can say that a woman can be at fault for those things, but you have to take accountability too. So when you say you're exhausted, to me, it's like, I can understand what you're saying, but at the same time, both parties have to take accountability. If you're not trying to be with those women, don't be with those women. You know what they come with, you know what they look like, you know what they sound like, someone who is really trying to use you for your, for your money. You should be able to point those women out. You should be able to do that. If you can't do that, then someone didn't teach you right.
Okay. You know what, Precious? You know what? It's refreshing.
I'm sorry. This is like really bothering me.
I think Black David, you got something on.
Hold on.
Something is going on in your background.
Yeah, you got.
You gotta get them goddamn baby kids together. Come on, Black.
Or just put the mute on.
I'll just choke them out and put them to sleep.
Yeah, or just put your mute on when you're not talking, because we hearing the TV, the commercials.
Mute on, man. Just mute.
All right.
Anyway,
who was?
I was just saying, Precious. I appreciate your position. Because that was a complete woman's position. Like there's some equivalency between men and women in the dating thing. Chivalry's dead because women killed it. And men are hanging on for dear life to try to bring some modicum of it back. And the only way we could do it is by only giving it to the women, to strange women like older women. It's easy to be chivalrous to them. But for women that you're dating, they got to earn some shit now, man. After all the stuff that y'all put the guys through, I mean, I think you have to show something. I really do. I think the expectation in the modern dating world is really one-sided for the ladies, and it's time for y'all to say, okay, I want this guy. What am I willing to do to get the guy I want? I still haven't heard panels or anything about women saying what they would like, what they would do to get the men they want. I still haven't heard. I still haven't heard that.
If you haven't heard it, it's because they don't know what to do. I mean, if you haven't heard it, it's probably because you don't know they don't know what to do. So now that we're on this men's panel, right?
Yeah.
There's some things that women can do because they will only know what to do if they hear it from you. So what are some things that women can do where it's like, if I need to earn, because look, we all need to study for tests. We all need to be prepared for the game. We all need to have our laces tied and, jump shots ready. So if a woman says, okay, I'm in this dating world, and there are men in this dating world that say, you know what, I'm tired. Like, I'm exhausted. Like, these women are not appreciative. They're not, reciprocating, which are things you should be doing. But coming from your mouths, what are things that women should be doing to earn chivalry? Something that men would just do for women. What do they have to do now to earn that back?
Well, here's the thing, and I'll answer. But one of the things is that I think we've been telling women they don't, especially black, they don't listen to us. Mm-hmm. Men have been saying what we want from y'all, till we're blue in the face. Either we're zesty or we don't know what. Listen, God, what's the key? Fit, feminine, and friendly. Forget about the fit, right? Because everybody got to work on that. But friendly, to me, a smile, or just be feminine, right? Don't give me extra energy. Right, so why do I have to be on the defensive? Let me just be civil. I think that we could start there. Just be civil. Hey, listen, I like you, you like me. I don't need to walk on pins and needles. If I do something for you, you know what? Maybe a thank you, and I appreciate that. Will even go a long way. Mm-hmm. That kind of shit, man. I had a show. When was the last time your woman made you a sandwich? Something simple like that, right? Because I think there's a lot of simple things that women, and I'm going to say black women, don't want to do for black men. And it's not like black men are leaving in droves, because all the statistics say most black men want to be with black women still, even today, even after all the abuse, the years of abuse, so 50 years, we still want to be with y'all because we're wired that way. But now men are starting to say, you know what, I'm tired of being abused. Because this is the same woman who's going to want me to die for her. So
you was looking at my videos, RP? Was you looking at my videos? Were you looking at my videos?
There you go. So anyway, there you go. Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. I think women need to get on their game. Maybe, listen to some more women content creators, maybe like yourself, who understand that there should be a balance. And women should if I'm taking a step towards you, I would expect you to take a step towards me.
Right.
And then, and once we get those hormones going back and forth, I don't think men will hesitate to give a woman what she wants. Mm-hmm. I really don't. I think when we get dedicated to a woman, we go all out. That's why we always get our ass kicked in court and everything else. That's why I'll be a millionaire and I'll get married to a chick who from Denny's and shit, and don't ask her to sign a prenup. Not only because I'm an asshole, because because I'm an asshole, but still, men do it. They still doing it. So I think we give everything we can to women. We don't get much in return, because women think because they got the magic thing down there, and every woman has one.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's reword chivalry and reword it with just consideration, because that's what it is. We're being considerate to the woman. And if you want that constant consideration, then you should reciprocate consistent consideration.
I think so.
And that's really what it boils down to. It's really not that complicated. You are getting, if a man is being chivalrous to you, he's being considerate to you. And if you want that to stay consistent, then show consideration in return.
All right. I know all y'all didn't go on this. What should a woman do to earn the chivalry, aka consideration? of a man?
Yes, just I don't know, show up polite, and then the guy has to be innately chivalrous for that to show up and come out. I've shared on here the time where I went out on a date with somebody prior to my marriage, and midway through the date, like she was always on her phone and everything like that, and I didn't speak up and I didn't say anything. That's bad on me. I wouldn't do that now. But when I went to go and pick her up, like I got out the door, I opened it for her, how you doing, just on that tip. But then when she wasn't paying me attention and was in her phone all the time, I lost interest. And when I went to go and drop off at the house, I had never even heard of this term. She was like, "Oh, so you just doing the whole drop off?" Because I wasn't interested in getting out the car or doing anything like that. And I was like, "Yeah, have a good night." And she couldn't understand why I was doing that. But also, to me, the audacity to expect that when we just went out on a dinner and you were in your phone more than you were into the conversation and us enjoying time, around each other. That could have been all the way different had she been feminine and friendly the entire time.
Okay. Who was that? Hank, did you go on this one? I think you're on mute.
Is chivalry still dead?
Not still.
No, I mean,
but we kind of shifted the question a little bit because the gentleman was saying that women today don't necessarily listen to men, and they haven't given a solution to what they would give, for this chivalry. And I'm like, well, maybe they haven't given a solution because they don't know what to give. They don't know, exactly. And we have these shows all the time. We're just going to treat this show as if it's somebody's first time watching and they don't know you guys. They don't know me. So what is it that a woman should do to earn the chivalry, aka consideration, from a man?
Well, with me, I'm automatically offer the chivalry. Now you can lose it, but I'm gonna offer it to you. It's gonna, but that's just me. That's just where I was raised and grown up. So it's gonna be automatic. If I'm dating somebody, I'm a automatically be chivalrous. I am. Now, if she shows a level of disrespect towards it, don't appreciate it by saying thank you or little things like that, yeah, there could be a serious problem. A serious problem. And so from there, I need to leave alone. Not just maybe not even dating them, but just having nothing else to do with her. Nothing else to do with her. It's because a woman like that who doesn't appreciate you like that, you wasting your time. So, but my shit was going, like I said, gonna call automatic. I'm off bad. And if she shows you she was receptive of it and respectful, I'm gonna pour it on even more. But she shows the opposite, I move accordingly.
Okay. That makes sense. You get it up front, but you do have an opportunity to have it taken away. CBN, did you go on this one? What a woman can do that?
So respect, be courteous, be mindful, to be honest, because any man who grew up was raised to be a gentleman would do it naturally in most cases, but some have learned to train themselves not to do it too often, because when you do it too often, you take advantage of it. So if you're a woman, you see a man being courteous to like open a door, put a seat for you, or being kind of off your head, be mindful about it and be respectful about it. Don't be like, man, you don't have to open a door for me. Oh, I can do that, or you're supposed to do that. That kind of nonsense. I've seen that a lot. I need to laugh about it. That's why I'm normally saying to young guys, be careful how you conduct yourself among women. You got to keep your distance. But if you find someone you can be considerate to, show a level of chivalry, then you can do that. But my thing, she has to work it. And when women not showing a level of respect based on how she conduct herself, then there's no need of being that. It is what it is.
All right. Christopher Sterling. Well, first, dedicated to my it looks like you gifted about 5 memberships to Hank's channel. So thank you. The mods, if you're in the chat, definitely drop the links to everyone who's on the panel. I failed to say that during shows. I do apologize, but if you can just drop the links to everyone who's on the panel so people can follow their channels as well, so we can spread the love here. So forgive me for not doing that, but thank you, dedicated to my children's future. I'm sure Hank appreciates you. Christopher Sterling says, look at the German Turkish woman who was going viral for calling out Black women. Yeah. I mean, I didn't take offense to that video because I was raised like that. I was raised in a house with the mom and father. They both worked at some point, and then my mom became a stay-at-home mom at some point. And so I don't know. I was blessed to see servitude growing up. I was blessed to see reciprocity growing up. I was blessed to see 2 people being a team in order to, keep their marriage alive, as well as keep parenting and keeping them on the same page when it came to my brother and I. So I really didn't take offense to anything that she says. I'm not one of those Black women that's like, all Black women, or you talk about one Black woman, you talk about all Black women. I'm not one of those. I'm one of the people that says if it doesn't apply, let it fly. And it just wasn't something that got me up in a roar when she made the statements that she made. I think that sometimes criticism is a good thing. And, I think a lot of our Black women don't like criticism because it hurts in areas where they need to grow, where they need to heal. And you can't really take what someone you don't know is saying really with all that much, offense. But if the shoe fits, wear it and do different, be different, and not because, you don't want a German Turkish woman to have a Black man, because she could have any man doing what she's doing. It don't necessarily have to be a Black man. Any man would appreciate a woman who knows how to treat a man. So, it's not necessarily about the Black man thing. It's just know how to treat a man, know how to be respectful, know how to be, know how to have a smile on your face. Those things that, you guys were saying. Women should be more polite and grateful for men, being courteous to wants and needs, and reciprocate the favor by saying thank you. Yes, just saying thank you can go a long way. And I think that us women do lose sight of that sometimes. A simple thank you or a simple I appreciate you, to me, I think that definitely goes a long way, because men don't necessarily hear it all the time. They're expected to show up, they're expected to perform. And so when they actually do it, it should be a thank you. It should be a, I appreciate you. I see what you're doing. Keep up the good work. Passport Bro Villain says she can earn it by putting as much effort as she puts into earning her degree or earning a promotion at work. I agree, because they're going to go get that money, okay?
Say it again.
You're going to go get that money, go get that honey, okay? And it's very easy. It's not hard at all. I think men have to do way more than women have to do when it comes to relating, right? Women don't have to do as much as men have to do, because men have to step outside of who they are to actually, with the exception of, providing and working and things of that nature, not stepping outside of your nature when you do those things. But when you're relating and you're in a relationship with a woman, I think men are in their heads a lot more than women are. It should come natural for women to do the simple things that you guys are asking for. But then again, if you're not raised in that type of environment, it could be a very tedious task. It could be something where you really have to relearn or just learn in general, how to be polite. It starts with honestly fixing your temperament. It has nothing to even do with the man. If you can't treat a man right, it doesn't even have anything to do with the man. So a man, if you're in the presence of a woman who can't treat you right, I would say run, and it has nothing to do with you. So don't take it personal. Women have to come to a point where they actually, face some things in their life, because men will do it. Men will work. They will not allow certain things to block their blessings or block where they're going. But women, we will do that because we haven't worked through some things, and instead of working through those things, we just turning the pages or getting another man, or trying to get the promotion at work, or and you have to address things in order to treat people right, and which means you have to start with yourself. So that's what I'll say on that. I think chivalry is dead. I'm gonna say, if I have been dating a guy, I've been showed that respect as far as opening, having doors open and things of that nature. But I also do believe that I'm polite. I'm generous. I smile. I'm feminine. So I don't have that problem when it comes to a man wanting to do those things for me. I just don't. All right, so we're going to shift gears a little bit here, and Arpain kind of touched on it.
Yes, ma'am. Oh,
we're going to get to this topic just because you did touch on it, and it kind of flows from the chivalry, right? So we're talking about, is chivalry dead? But in this next video, we see three guys talking, and they're talking about, would you die for your wife? And I don't look, we got all things need to be put on the table in 2024, because the things of yesteryear are not.
To be like, am I willing to die for this? Moment, you got to be like, am I willing to die for this?
I'm not. I'm not willing to die for it. I think dying for your wife and your family, I can understand.
Because it's dangerous. It's not fearful. It's a dangerous
kids,
situation.
Yeah. Wife too.
Wife, no.
Look, you bought her though. I'm not. I mean, like once you I'm not dying for my wife, my nigga.
What are you doing in a dangerous situation?
If me and my wife are running because two niggas are shooting at us and she trip, I'm gonna keep running. You and your wife. Me and my wife. Who hurt you? Nobody. I'm just saying I'd keep running.
That was Sean who said, "Who hurt you?" All right, so he's not dying for his wife. There's some people who set a line in the sand, and he said it, and he said he's not dying for his wife. Now, guys, would you die for your wife, or is this like depends on the situation, or is that something that you're prepared to do when you say I do?
All pain.
Listen, I tell you what. I would say I'm already dying for my wife. So no, I'm not like on the deathbed, but I mean, if nothing else happens, I'm thinking I'm gonna go first, and she's taken care of. But that's one. But it'll depend on the situation. I would like to say that I jump in front of a bullet and all of that kind of stuff when the situation ain't there. It's easy for a man to say that shit. I mean, I would intend to be able to protect her before it's over. I have my house as protected as I have because I have a wife and kids. So, I have my protection in here, and I think if I got to it, I'd use it to make sure she'd be safe. So the fact is, just to come out and say, yeah, I'll die for her, no matter what the circumstance, it's easy for me to say that, but I think it's a little disingenuous. I mean, I probably would have to piss my pants first.
But you wouldn't say what the man said when he said, well, somebody chasing my trip.
No, I wouldn't. I couldn't say that. The first thing I would do is go back and pick her up. We probably both die. So I would never do that. Never do that. So I mean, I can say that easily enough.
Okay. I highly respect what that man said. I highly respect it. I don't agree with it, but I highly respect it. Simply because he's saying his truth. Right. Now, me personally, to answer that question, yes, I would die for my wife, and that's why I'm not married, because I understand the sacrifice that I'm going to lay forth for that relationship, the sacrifice of being honest, being monogamous, being a lot of things that take a lot of intention. And so I want to be able to identify somebody who can appreciate, even though I don't expect them to do it, but they can appreciate that it's being done for them.
So that's why you're not married?
One of the reasons.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right. Would you die for your wife, Hank? I know the nuptials coming up soon.
I know that's right. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that. None at all. I mean, look, I'm surprised that my buddy Payne said that he wanted to get on the door, but he wanted to lay down his life. I don't understand that shit now, Payne. You're killing me. But being said, yeah, I would do that. I wouldn't let no hurt or harm come to my wife or my family. So yeah, that's for sure. I'll do what I can. But hopefully, yeah, the scenario they put out there, man, getting shot at like that, I don't know what type of situation they in, a lifestyle they living, but man, that sounds rough. But yeah, I would do what I got to do.
Right. CBN, what you doing? Are you dying for your wife or?
If she's not following my program, I'm not killing myself for nobody.
Well, hopefully she's not your wife if she's not following your program. But if you have a woman that's following your program and she's feminine,
if she worth it, yes. If not,
well, she shouldn't be your wife if she's not worth it.
I know. I'm saying that some people can pretend to be one and hide that for over a decade and later on show their true nature. Let me know, like, nah. Them taking the bullet out. That mean taking the bullet out of the dagger bullet like the nature, like you take it yourself. How about that?
Oh, he said. Come on, watch the bullet.
It is what it is.
All right. We not even going to marriage.
Now let me find out you faking the funk, because you do. That bullet to come in, I'll do the matrix and see how you take it.
All right. Gotcha. All right. Well, I mean, at least you would for someone that, respects you and is on your program and things of that nature. I think that, sacrificing your life is the ultimate, protection that you can give a woman and your children, honestly, to sacrifice your life. So I just wanted to see where y'all was at on that one. I just wanted to see, because the dude on the interview said, hey, look, I'm not doing it. I'm
moment you gotta be like, am I willing to die for this?
I'm not. I'm not willing to die
I think dying for your wife and your family, I can understand.
Because it's dangerous. It's not fearful. It's a dangerous
kids,
situation.
Yeah. Wife too.
Wife, no.
Look, you bought her though.
I'm not.
I mean, like once you
I'm not dying for my wife, my nigga.
What are you doing in a dangerous situation?
If me and my wife are running because two niggas are shooting at us and she trip, I'm gonna keep running. Because two niggas are shooting at us and she trip, I'm gonna keep running. My wife are running because two niggas are shooting at us and she trip, I'm gonna keep running.
You and your wife.
Me and my wife.
Who hurt you?
Nobody. I'm just saying I'd keep running.
That's so funny.
That's a street dude. That is a street dude. Let me just say this. This is why I've been having this question I've been throwing out in a lot of panels. What group of black men are you referring to? They keep thinking black men are all the same. That's a perfect example that black men are not the same. He's a street dude. What he's saying, if they shoot at, I'll keep running. If my wife trip, I will keep running. He covering his own ass.
CBN, you said you would dodge the bullet if
I say I would dodge the bullet if I found my mind faking the funk. So they're not about me tripping. They're not me doing the matrix. I'm like
figuring that out.
You the Black Panther now? You the Black Panther? You gonna dodge the bullet?
This big matron ass ain't gonna charge no goddamn bullet. Man, you need to stop
Hank,
this.
Hank, don't start right now. Do not start. You haven't wrote me in 2 years, so let's leave it alone.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you're right. There are,
But
different there.
let's be honest. There are women who have married good men and pretend to be good women. Just hope they can get their hook in and show their true
You
colors.
can't change the
That's why
scenario, man.
I'm not changing the scenario. I'm just pointing out how I see it.
That's true. That what you said is true. That does happen. I don't know how often they run outside and trip and about to get shot, and face their death sentence. But I just think that in that scenario, you just let the woman go. You see that she is. I don't know. I think that I don't know if a woman. I think that a woman can pretend to be a good woman for a certain amount of time, but that just goes all into vetting. I just don't. To me, you can't fake a servant's heart. You just can't fake that. So if you can't tell the difference between someone who, again, like I said earlier, if a man can't tell the difference between that, maybe you never had someone that truly served you from their heart, or you just don't really know what that look like and feel like. So you just getting got all over the place. But you can't really you can't fake someone who truly wants to serve you. You can't fake that.
You're right.
A woman can't fake that.
You're right. Because we had a show on Thursday about vetting 101, and we realized the vetting skill that we used up the year need to be updated with what's going on right now. Because there's a lot of issue. Because our pen dropped on a couple of gems on Thursday about that issue, about vetting, what to look for, what to be careful of. But we coming in that society whereby it's hard to force a woman to be honest with herself.
Mm-hmm.
Some like to play that long-term game, see they can get their hook in and get to a situation whereby they marry you for X amount of years. Then when they feel like they're done when they need to get, okay, I want to get a divorce. Or you have the type of thing that's going on whereby, I hate to say this, you find out the kid you have is not yours. And you be married to the person for X amount of years. I'm seeing a lot of scenarios for the past decade. I'm laughing. I'm like, I wonder if our forefather could have saw this one coming and give it a heads up.
God did. If you just read the Bible, you would know. You would, we
see that
vetting pamphlet. Would you call it the vetting? What it needs to be updated. What did you call it?
Because I remember that clip of that pastor marrying a woman to a man, and she said about obey, and she looked like, oh, we need to cut up, and that pastor didn't say no. So you want to cap out about the obey part, then you shouldn't get married. The pastor continued on with that. So imagine a pastor with a 15-year wedding, and he was making her read the vow and talk about obeying her husband. She said, I don't. If I was a pastor, I'm like, okay, let me close this book. You're not ready for this.
I mean, I think he was wrong for not saying something, but it is their vows. He is just helping them officiate. Officiating them. So he said something at their wedding, yes and no. But again, that's a sign. That's one of those flags where that man who's marrying that woman has to say, okay, well, if she has a problem saying that, there must be a reason she has a problem with saying that word. There must be a trigger for her. So, after we get from the honeymoon or whatever, we're gonna have to sit down and talk about that one. But honestly, that's up to that man too. Ain't none of y'all married her. So
the man lost. The man's a loser. I mean, he accepted it. It's his fault.
He accepted that, right? Yeah, and so when you talk about vetting, those are things that as a man you have to be confident on, and you have to be able to, see through certain things. And if you can't, then just say you can't. But don't say that women are this and that or whatever. you left the gate open to like,
man, if you marry a woman who can't say the vows, man, it's on you. And they had counseling before, besides, she had trouble in the counseling session. So I saw that video several times. She also had trouble with saying for better or for worse.
Yeah,
she just had trouble. Let's just leave it there.
Yeah, that part.
And he accepted it.
And he accepted it. And I heard that they broke up like a couple years later or something like that, but I don't know. I couldn't verify.
I didn't hear that part. Well, I mean, the proof is in the pudding sometimes. So, you just have to be wise, and wisdom comes from God. I mean, you can get other type of wisdom, but ultimate wisdom comes from God. So, there's also a lot of posts that I see and just reading up on things, how they're, men want relationships and things like that, but it does take getting close to the person who made relationships, because if you try to do it by yourself, you're gonna be like, what in the world is wrong with this woman? You're gonna have to talk to her creator about her. You're gonna have to talk to the manufacturer. I mean, at some point in life, we gotta start being mature about certain things. And I'm not trying to push religion or anything on people, but at the end of the day, when you have a lot of issues, you need to really say, why do I have these issues? Do I not have a certain standard, or am I not walking a certain type of way? Am I not following, something that I should be following that has been proven to work? So, yeah, I wanted to play that because I don't think a lot of men today, in today's world, are even wanting to get married, let alone take a bullet for their wife. So I just want to that with it. All right, so we're gonna go on to this next video that I saw. So now we're gonna move into a sector of expectations for relationships, right? Where do they come from? Because I think with some people not being raised in a 2-parent home, what are they really going into relationships expecting? And we see Kendra G show, all these different shows, even when Kevin Samuel was alive, what women are expecting from men, and what men are expecting from women. I'm not saying that you guys are expecting a lot, but can you really expect that from a woman who's never been taught it? They ain't never seen it. Is that really love, expecting something from somebody that don't know what you want? You know what I mean? So I want to play this and get you guys' opinion on it.
Any unrealistic expectations in your relationship?
So growing up in a household where my mother would come home from work, cook dinner, and put out food for my dad first, and then put out food for me, like that was the priority. There was no such thing as I'm tired in the Haitian household. That's what I grew up seeing. So growing up and seeing that, man, like when we first moved in together, like it was like, yo, you're working 40 hours, but I'm working 40 hours too. Like we're both working 40 hours, but who's gonna cook? So I had an unrealistic expectation of my fiance to come from 5 classes, work from 2 to 8, to come home and fix us dinner.
You had me at 5 classes, bro, for real. Then you throw the job in there?
Yeah, you throw a job in there full time, right?
Tough.
But then what made it unrealistic is that she was doing it, and I expected her to be happy. How is that fair?
She's suffering from it.
And once I realized that shit was whack, that shit stopped.
All right, so he said he saw his mom, and mom and dad working, mom come home, cook. Now his girlfriend or wife, did he say wife? Is now doing and is it realistic? Is it fair? Did he have these expectations of her? No, I think his mom didn't work. But she provided, food, took care of the kids. Is that realistic in his relationship that he's in now? You always hear men saying, well, you cook, you clean, the typical, roles that men and women have. But, are those expectations coming from what you saw growing up, or is it realistic for the relationship that you're in? Because I think a lot of people go into relationships with certain expectations based off of how they grew up. and you all have been, you know, either married, are married, maybe in relationships. So where did your expectations for your relationship? Did you have like these outlandish expectations where you had to say, okay, this is not my mom, or this is not my grandmother, or, you know, she's not going to do it like she did. Did you come to that realization at any point in your life, or were you kind of in sync with the person that you were with, where you really didn't have any outlandish expectations?
Nobody wants to go first. I don't think I did. We've been running neck and neck. Nah, you know, listen, I don't know if I had unrealistic expectations. My wife, when she worked and I worked, you know, we shared whatever duties of cleaning the house and stuff like that. Like I said, I always washed my own clothes. Mm-hmm. She always washed hers because we had different cycles on that. You know, so I mean, I was never hard over on her. You know, I take out the garbage, she cooked the food, and I mean, when she stopped working and she spent a couple of years with the kids, I had some expectations that, you know, I think, well, you're here with the kids. You know, one is when they were real young, especially for the second. When she had the second one, I was young. The older one was 7 years older, so she didn't really have to babysit her that much. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I expected a couple of things, but then I realized, you know, chasing around a kid, like my youngest daughter was a full day sucker, man. Mm-hmm. She was, I was worried about her. She just was constant, nonstop movement. I mean, we had to always watch. You know, one day, I'm gonna be real quick. One day I came home and I just heard noise in my house. Then I realized, man, that's my daughter. She's just bouncing off the walls. I had to grab her and count to 100. Right. And so she finally got out of that, you know, but man, so that's a full day thing. So my wife was exhausted when I came home watching her. So I had to kind of adjust a little bit and stuff like that. So, I mean, if I'm married for 37 years, by definition, I've adjusted.
Yeah.
I've adjusted to like shit, you know, that's the only way you survive. And so did my wife. It's not just me. We've adjusted to each other.
So you guys already did your own laundry, but did you expect her to cook every night? Did you expect her to clean? Did you expect her to do those things?
No, actually, listen, I'm a decent cook. You can go on my channel. I got a whole bunch of cooking videos on that. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm a decent cook, man. That's how I used to get laid in college. I used to cook for the chicks.
Come up to the towers. I got you.
That's right. It was nothing but rice and gizzards and shit, but that's all right. Rice and gizzards with gravy and shit, you know.
You convinced him to get gizzards?
Man, listen, I used to saute some chicken gizzards, $1.99 a pound and shit, you know, and some. I could make them taste
Central
like
Mississippi, Payne?
Huh?
So what state? Central Mississippi?
No, in Buffalo, New York, man. Back in the day, man. Shoot, I used to cook some gizzards up, man, with some rice and gravy and shit. I mean, that was just one day.
Things have changed. Things have surely changed.
Yeah, man. You know, little music and shit, and backgammon and all that old-fashioned shit, man. Forget it.
Dang, backgammon. Okay.
More wine.
Thing was whipping it up in the kitchen for the ladies.
I still do. I mean, I cook Sunday dinners for the most part. I still do. So I didn't need my wife. I didn't need my wife to cook. I didn't marry her for her to cook, but she did though. Mm-hmm. Especially when we had the kids. We had to feed them, right? So.
Right. Okay.
So you're the reason why a lot of women ask a man to be in the kitchen then.
So what? Say that again?
So you are the reason why a lot of women are asking men to be in the kitchen these days. Oh, why don't you cook for me now? Like, really seriously?
You kind of low there, brother.
I mean, she might want you to open her door. I mean, if you open the door, she might cook for you. I'm just saying.
That's right. She might cook for you. Yeah. Might get a meal. Yeah.
Really? So if I pay all the bills in the household, she might cook for me. Really?
Well, what are you expecting? We're talking about expectations. So what are you expecting in a relationship?
If I want to be a traditional husband, she had to be a traditional wife, straight up.
Do you want to be a traditional husband?
If she want a traditional husband, then she had to be a traditional wife. Because I'm not gonna just do.
As a man, what kind of man do you want to be? What kind of husband do you want to be? We you don't even know her yet, or maybe you do. I don't know.
I'm ready to be. My thing is, I'm ready to be a traditional man. With me,
Okay.
I do what it's responsible of me to do, regardless. It's never gonna be a problem.
Okay.
What I don't want is that back seat driver just want to sit down and enjoy the ride and not do shit. That brings the dark side out of me more. But I've been trying to keep in a cage, locked up for good.
Jesus Christ.
So you don't want somebody like in the car seat, in the back seat, that really can't do
Just
for you.
they can't do anything, but it's so easy to run their mouth. Oh, you're not doing this, right? You're not doing, and that it kind of irks me.
Mm-hmm. Have you experienced that a lot? Like, have you experienced women that, you know, really don't reciprocate or don't, you know, show they...
In most cases, I have, but back then I had to be vicious. I give women a one-try contract. Then they got one chance to mess up, and that is it. My mom had to warn me not to be that way, and I told her I don't have the time nor the patience. It took a year to convince me not to be that way. And now that I think about it, I should have been that way from day one.
So you say your mom convinced you not to be that way. Were your mom and dad married?
They were married and divorced several times, but when I look into these reasons why they're going back and forth, they both have egos. Both would not need to be humble and admit with a wrong in the way, but for her to tell me that I shouldn't be the way I was before, whereby if you give me drama, bye. You play my game, bye. If you think you're gonna pick me and get somebody to fight over you, bye. If you're gonna waste my time, bye. And I was good that way. I don't mind being by myself. My old self was, if you're not in my program, you're not with my program, just leave me the hell alone. I would be by myself than be with someone would drive me nuts. But if I've been in a relationship with somebody and I make so much sacrifice and I don't get the thing in return, the level of resentment will build over time. And when it does, and when I do get out of that relationship, the only thing that will happen, I'll be way cold-hearted. I won't have mercy for black women or any kind of women. And I stick to what I say. I never change my mind, not one bit. Unless the man up there say change otherwise. Other than that, nah.
So I agree with you when you say, you know, if you're not on the program and things of that nature, I'm not going to waste my time. I think that all men should be like that, because you don't want your heart to grow cold from finding what you ultimately want, and that's love and a wife. But I think that the opposite happens. I think that men do allow their hearts to grow cold, or they get exhausted, or, you know, they just give up on the idea that they'll be with somebody, and they just, you know, continue to be on their plan, work their plan. If somebody comes, they come. If they don't, they don't. But I do believe that men should be very firm on who they allow and who they don't allow to infringe on their meat, their money, energy.
I'm just saying, 'cause I miss my old self, whereby I didn't have not too much drama around me, because back then I keep all the chicken headed to the corner. I kept to myself, and when be around me, I let them know I'm not here for the bullshit.
Okay.
But these days I have to be a little bit too forgiving, trying to hold my temperament, and sometimes I just want to go beast mode and just let them have it, just for the fun of it. And I miss that side of me.
Just for the fun of it. Is it fun? Who would it be fun for? You?
Oh, I had a mean streak back in my high school day, my college day, whereby when you have women you like to mouth off, and I get them the same thing back in return. But what I normally do, I hurt their self-esteem in the process of it. I was known to be a little bit too vicious.
And then what? Just dump them and then put them back in the dating pool?
I just let them know you're not all that what you think you are.
Mm.
Bring yourself down. The thing is, I hate egotistic people. If you're too prideful, I enjoy destroying it.
Mm.
That was me.
Mm.
And I miss that side of me, because if I could get back to that side, I would fully enjoy it again. And I was mean with my word. I made sure it cut deep into your soul. So
do you think that you should be mean with your words though? Like, how profitable do you think that'll be for you?
It prevent a lot of fake ass people to come near me. That I prefer.
But do you have to be mean, or can you just be, is it mean or is it direct?
It's more like direct. Cut into the nonsense, let them know what it is.
Gotcha.
Like I tell you, my mom had to talk me out of it for a year because I was cutthroat. I could care less if I hurt your feelings. I tell you the blunt, unfiltered truth. Either you don't like it, I'll pay you a cab to jump off the bridge, to shoot one bridge, and I'll give you the money for it. I didn't ever care back then. So I had to calm that a lot down.
Mm. Mm.
So it is what it is. Sometimes they feel like, what? When they fake it, continue to fake the fun until you meet somebody who won't got time for it. And they'll let you know what it is.
Mm.
So that is who I am. And I'm trying to bring that thing out slowly but steady, but not too much. I know how I used to be. Like King Smith said, I used to be a Homelander too. I was worse than a Homelander. I was way worse than that. Believe me. Nobody want to be around me because they know I would tell them the truth. Either they like it or they don't. I mean, it sounds petty, but I'll just say stop faking it. Be your true self. If you cannot be true, then they keep it moving.
Okay.
So Hank would have never let me talk that long. Yeah.
Well, I asked them a series of questions too.
Yeah, look, you gotta just let some people just talk, man. Just let them get all that bullshit up out of their system, man. Some people gotta. My man Black David is venting right now. He's going through some shit.
Yeah, I just fear that you have tried to turn a different way with and how you approach it, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. But have you dated a woman since the last time maybe you've blown up on a woman? Have you dated a woman where she has been different than the other woman, where you had to give it to them, or you had to kind of put them in their place or whatever? Have you really dated someone that doesn't bring that out of you?
I thought I did until that person made me regret for making that change.
And what was your reaction to that person?
On that reaction, it was more like slow viewing. I decided to hold my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
But what it does, it brings back the old ways that I used to have locked up. But slowly but steadily, it's now going at a slow pace. Let's just say I'm trying my best not to go ballistic.
Mm-hmm.
So the dark side of David is now coming out more, and the good side of David is going back in slowly but steady.
Okay, well, maybe the dark side can, I don't know, go to the shooting range or something. It sounds like
no. I'm trying to bring the dark side back out. I can get back to the gym more often, hit the punching bag, and just let more of that rage out.
Do that. Yeah, it's a bad.
I don't believe in gun. I'm a mixed martial artist. I like using my hand more than using a gun.
So Black David, are you going to paint a face on the punching bag or what?
That's too easy.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Hey, man, y'all need to quit listening to Black David. His whole ass is married, It went soft as hell. I don't know what the hell he telling y'all this goddamn story for.
No, correction.
Man.
Correction. I'm separated.
Oh shit!
For more than 2 years. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's why I'm saying the slow brewing is in process.
Gotcha. All right. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. What are your expectations for your relationship? Do you have any like outlandish expectations? I know you're always talking about consideration and reciprocation of that nature, but do you have like any outlandish expectations? I also know you have your views on marriage has changed too,
Oh man, outlandish expectations. I don't feel that outlandish because I don't think that I ask anybody to do anything that I would not do.
Mm-hmm.
I only require what I desire, and that didn't sound right. Let me take that back. I was trying to rhyme. Didn't make sense. But I only require things that I would do, and if in fact I'm asking you to do it, then I'm willing to sacrifice and do it myself. If I'm asking you to change, I'm willing to change. If I'm asking you to be accountable, I'm willing to be accountable. If I'm asking you to whatever I'm asking, I'm willing to do. And that's I don't feel like that's outlandish. One of the outlandish things, let me think if I got an outlandish request. Yeah. I want a threesome. No, I'm just joking.
So, but like, okay, so most times men expect women to cook, to clean, and things of that nature. But is this something that's set in stone, or is it just like, okay, well, it would depend on our, setup, or it would depend on our lifestyle or what we have going on? I can't really I'm gonna want her to cook.
It would depend on if she can cook. Because if she can't cook, I don't want her to cook. It's all right. Don't worry about it. We'll figure something out. Because if she can't cook, I'm not just requiring it because that's what I want, and then I don't like eating what she cooking. So if you can't cook, then I ain't try. We can have that negotiation. But the point to answer your question in all reality, yeah, I expect you to do what I would do. I will cook if in fact it was necessary. I will clean when necessary, and I don't expect you not to.
But it's all negotiation, right? I think for the modern era, men and women, the way they're treating each other, I think you have to negotiate even that. But if there's kids, I would expect it's like a leader among equals. At some point, somebody's got to take the lead step. If we have children, I'm gonna expect you to make sure that they're fed. If you're my wife, and you should want to do that, right? So I mean, if I have you out there working 40, 50 hours a week, just like me, then we got to discuss that. I think that's where men go wrong in trying to stay traditional. But it's not, and I'm not talking 50-50 relationship, because the woman, she's going to be spending some of her goddamn money, either saving it for our future or paying some kind of bill. And ain't none of this, my money's your money and your money is your money. We ain't getting married. So let's just say in a nice, really coordinated family, they're both working, you got to share some of that stuff. I just think that's common sense. And it has nothing to do with modern era. I mean, I was doing that with my wife back when we got married.
Right.
I mean, it was just one of those kind of things. I mean, I wasn't no newfangled guy. I got married. My wife is this. She was still working. I was working. We worked that out. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't even like some of this, it's a woman's thing. Like, okay, she washed dishes. I didn't wash dishes. But guess what? She really liked the dishwasher that I bought her. You know what I'm saying? So she got, so I mean, I think some things are simple. I think we complicate matters. Maybe it's social media. Maybe it's a whole bunch of bullshit people are listening to. But if you really want to be in a relationship, man, I don't think there's anything hard about it other than a negotiation on what you can live with and what you can't.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that. And the willingness to walk away. That was my answer to that. So.
God damn, it's a bunch of jellyfish up here.
I
don't shit. Let me say this. I believe in gender roles, and so does my woman. Now, if she didn't, she wouldn't be my woman. She wouldn't be my future wife. I don't know. I don't understand what they talking about. So let me tell you something about my lady. She has a job. She works. We one pot around my house. That's the way we roll. But she's also going to school to study, get her real estate license. But guess what she does? She still cooks. She cleans. She takes care of the house. Make sure everything's everything. I don't make up the bed. I don't do none of that shit. I don't understand this, man. I don't understand. So I can't sit there and say there's no woman out there, because if that's the case, I wouldn't be getting married if there wasn't no woman out there. But y'all gotta put whatever demands or whatever requests you gotta have. You gotta let it be known. But if you come like what y'all doing with this old spineless shit, that woman gonna run right over you. And that's why you wash your own goddamn clothes, Payne. How you wash your clothes, she wash her clothes. What type of shit is this, man?
Because we have different schedules. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't need to wash my goddamn clothes. Shit, man. I got married as I was almost 29. I mean,
y'all put the
it has nothing to do with gender roles. You're crazy, man.
Hank, I believe you're right. But the gender roles depending on how you negotiate it. Like, for example, I enjoy washing clothes. I don't enjoy cooking. So she cooked, I wash clothes. We still have the gender roles, or we have the roles, but I just don't. It's not always specific to cooking, cleaning, blah 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 as the specific role. So, but I do agree that roles need to be established.
Right, it has nothing to do with washing clothes. Hey, listen, my kids wash their own clothes once they learn how to use a washing machine.
Right.
Once I knew they were safe with washing their own clothes, they were washing and drying their own clothes. I don't understand. And they folded their own clothes and all that shit. I really don't understand this. If it's my way or the highway bullshit, man, it's crazy. That's why most just fall apart.
That's why you're married and a lot of us aren't, because we do understand my way or the highway. And and unfortunately, hey, it is what it is. But your way should have consideration.
Hold on. First of all, I thought it was my turn. How do y'all cut in front of my ass?
Because you said so many incendiary things. You know what I'm saying? So we just gonna let you get away with it.
I said what y'all said. I didn't do it, but repeat the thing y'all did. And that sounds like a bunch of spineless jellyfish. That's what it sounds like.
Clothes. Oh, because I wash my own clothes.
And once again, Payne's talking when I'm talking. Go ahead, Payne, buddy.
I mean, why can't you just make a point without calling me a spineless jellyfish and shit? You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's put it on an argument as opposed to the person. Even though I know you're just joking, but I'm just saying. I mean, you fight these. Go ahead, man. I'll shut up, man. But there you go. My mic is muted.
Look, man. I don't understand. You wash your clothes. You wash y'all put it in the same dirty hamper. You got the same wash machine. I see a clothes over it. Just throw it on in there for her. Do a solid. Since you wash your clothes, since you doing your thing, you might as well. What do I look like?
Separate hampers. We don't
mix your goddamn drawers. I'm not washing your first of the month drawers. I'm not watching your sexy thongs. Those are yours. Wash them your damn self. Oh man, what type of shit is this, man? So do you got your own detergent too?
Hey,
you got your own. You got detergent with all the paint on it, and you got detergent paint on it. And you say, you better not use my detergent. I got my stuff, man. And I thought that dude was muted, but I guess not.
No, I mean, you asked me a question. I have my own hamper with my dirty drawers in it, and she has her thing with her dirty drawers in it. She washes hers, and I wash mine. This is something like that. I don't understand where this conversation is. Clothes. I wash my clothes.
How selfish is that, though?
Simple one, right? I'm gonna shut up here because I know you're on some shit. Listen, I count washing my clothes based on how much drawers I have left. When I have no drawers left, I gotta wash clothes. I don't know what her metric is. I don't care. My metric is how many drawers I have. That's it.
Wow.
That's it. If I run out of drawers, it's time to wash clothes.
That's hilarious. I mean, I didn't hear that part. I must have missed it. But you mean to tell me you wash yours and you say forget about hers?
Yeah, I don't wash her clothes. She wash her own clothes.
He said, "Fuck your clothes."
I missed that part.
I don't know why y'all thought I was washing her clothes. No wonder he called me all this fire. I don't wash her clothes. Shit. I wash my own clothes.
I'm a little confused. Maybe y'all can help me out. Which side are we on? Are we on him washing his own clothes or him not washing clothes at all? I told you I like washing clothes, so I wash all clothes. But tell me where we are. But I will say this.
I thought it was because they had different schedules. You said because y'all had different schedules, right?
Yeah.
But then it went to, when you run out of drawers, that's when you wash your clothes.
That's a schedule. Right. Oh. It's only one or two pair of drawers a day, and that's a schedule. Once I have 20 pairs of drawers, my schedule is when those 20 pairs of drawers need to be washed.
Payne, I figured it out.
So when you run out of drawers, what's everybody's metric? You got to have a metric.
I figured it out. You being passive aggressive. You can't say fuck them kids, so you saying fuck them clothes.
I'm just surprised. I don't know what everybody else's metric is. My metric is that.
What your metric is. It's when I run out of drawers.
I got one pair left. I got to wash clothes.
Hey, let me ask you this. Payne, let me ask you this. If she accidentally put her dirty underwears in your hamper, what do? You throw it out, say, fuck this, I ain't washing your drawers.
No. But it never happens. It just never happens. I got my shit over here. She got her shit over there. It's as simple as that. I mean, our house is big enough that we got separate hampers.
Does it get all paint on the hamper?
She know which one is mine.
That's
so funny, man. I'm surprised you guys never heard that shit before.
I'm gonna let Payne have it. I'm gonna let him have the floor. He wants.
I do know some men who like to wash their own clothes, iron their own clothes. There are some men who are just particular like that. They don't want their woman doing it, and it's not because they don't want her doing it, but they just want to do it. That was a good laugh. He said when well, you gotta get the old school Christmas gifts, Payne. They just need to just load you up with some drawers.
I mean, every 2 weeks, you gotta wash clothes anyway, but you gotta have some kind of metric. I mean, I got a lot of shirts, so you can't wear drawers. You can't wear dirty drawers. So when it's time to wash, you gotta wash.
I think you turn yours on the inside out when they get dirty.
No, I don't do that. That's why I got a metric. That's why I got a metric. I never run out of clean drawers because I wash them when they get low. I wash.
You say I got another side to my drawers. That's why you never run out.
You don't believe me or not, man. I never wore a pair of dirty drawers. Never.
Lord.
All right, we got more videos to get through. This next video, was this from the Karamo? I think this one was from the Karamo show. But the last video that it ends up with, because I pieced them together, was pretty much how men need to make their intentions known up front. Pretty much be real. Being real with a woman will definitely get you way more than not being real with them, because once all the lies and stuff done fall out the skeletons out the closet, they're not going to trust you, and then that non-trust is going to go on to the next person who they don't even know anything about them, but because you lied to them, they think everybody gonna lie to them. So I'm gonna play this one. We're gonna get into it.
Already, but I want to be clear. Do you still communicate with your ex?
No.
Not at all. Not at all. So I'm getting a ping. They're telling me the ping is from your ex-fiance. Letitia sent us a message. Okay, let's hear what she has to say.
Hey, my name is Leticia. I'm just calling to kind of give you guys a tea on what's going on. Brandon and I were engaged last year. Didn't work out. We did end up getting back together a couple of weeks ago and trying to work our own things. And just so Regina knows, she was the Band-Aid the whole time. He was still seeing me while being with her. He never gave a flying about her. And I just need her to back up and stay away.
So she's saying that you two are still in communication and that you hooked up. How long ago did she just say? I couldn't hear it. Okay, listen, this is why I love y'all. Y'all got the facts to me. My audience is like 2 weeks. I appreciate y'all. Gina, we did unlock his phone. Regina, you want to know if he was communicating with his ex-fiance, the one who we just saw in that ping, when you were in jail in October. Brandon says he is not. My Unlock the Phone investigators searched his calls and found that he is not telling the truth. We found 193 calls between Brandon and someone named Wishy Washy. So my investigator cross-referenced the number, his ex-fiance, and the number with Wishy Washy, and it is the same person, and they have been communicating from October all the way up until yesterday when you two were together. If you knew you were trying to have this wishy-washy relationship, this is what you labeled the woman in your phone, wishy-washy, which means wishy-washy means you're going back and forth, back and forth. If you knew you wanted to go back and forth with this woman, why involve her and her children?
I feel like a lot of relationships don't work because brothers don't be, like, we don't be being real. Like, you got to give a woman 100%, bro. Listen, I'm going to be real with you.
Oh, he done put the glass down.
No, I'm just being real with you. If you want a successful relationship,
okay,
you gotta leave the bullshit.
Now, specifically, what's the bullshit though?
Cheating, liking other bitches on Instagram, talking to bitches, doing crazy shit, getting yourself caught up, crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta stop. Period. You give a woman your undivided attention, she will give it back to you. Period. That's all women want. They want to be up your ass. When they love you as a man, you're like, babe.
They love you.
Like, I'm serious. But
Not
when you
Geminis.
hurt her,
Not Geminis though.
when you hurt her,
Yeah.
now you got a chick that's like a slide out on the side and she DMing other niggas on the side. If you give that woman your undivided attention,
She gonna give you hers. That's
I'm
a
telling
fact.
you, that's some real shit.
All right. So in the first couple of slides, it was a man who was supposedly with this woman and told her that he wasn't with his ex anymore. I guess the woman went to jail and he's been talking to his ex this whole time. But even on the show, Karamo asked him, hey, have you had any communication with your ex? He said no right away. And they had evidence saying that was a lie. Now, in the second slide, the guy is pretty much saying, you know, if men are real with women, then and they put away all the BS, then they would get a lot more from women. Do you think that's true, or do you think that he was just talking just to talk?
I'll go first and I'll go quickly because y'all have heard it from me before. I believe that is entirely true. I've advocated that. I've had most of my wars in being called a panderer because I challenge men on that. And yeah, you stop the bullshit will stop.
Okay. Do you guys believe that? Do you guys believe that, you know, stop all the lying, the side chicks, all that, all those other distractions, and you're able to focus on this person, then y'all can have a successful relationship? He said that's why relationships aren't successful.
Well, you know, I don't listen. He has half a point. A half a point is that he put it all on the man. I don't think that if you just being all nose busted all open for a woman means shit to her unless she's feeling that way about you. Mm-hmm. And you know whether you're like that or not. When it only works when you're both are like that, right? So I don't like when guys just put all things on men. It's just ridiculous, you know. And I think there's a role for both of us. Men need to know that the woman that he's with views him as her number one choice, especially if you're going to marry. You got to know that as good as best you possibly can. And a lot of guys don't do enough analysis to figure that shit out. Mm-hmm. And so, you don't pour into a woman unless you know that she deserves to get all the shit you got. Right? That's what I'm thinking, So it's always a double-edged sword there. So I just can't stand when men say, you got to do all of this for her. It's just kind of bullshit, You got to make sure every step of the way is just being reciprocated. And if it's not, you might be batting up the wrong tree. That's my answer to that one. And, for the second guy, the first story is kind of so staged. If somebody's cheating, right? And I give you my phone knowing that you're going to unlock it and have all those numbers in there, I don't see how that's authentic. Right? And then that's why you being faithful to a chick who was in jail. I mean, what kind of show was that?
Pain. It's not organic. It's stupidity.
But if the main issue is that, listen, if my chick is going to jail, she probably doesn't care if I'm busting down another chick, man, while she's in there. She probably doesn't really care. She's nefarious. If I'm going with a chick who's a jailbird, we're probably on a different level. Hey, listen, while I'm in here, honey, if you bust somebody out, just make sure that she's going when I get out. That's what she'll probably say to me. So how you gonna make something like righteous with a chick who just did a bid in jail? I mean, it's crazy. That's how I took the show. I mean, that's all. Mr. Dusty over here saying, it's my audience. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. I'm done. My mic is muted.
Okay.
Yeah, we never know.
What a contradiction. Yo, girl get locked up in jail. So what? It's not the same fundamental that applied to guys who get locked up in jail and expect a girl to just keep her leg cool and not deal with nobody, depending on how long you be in jail. Like, really? You got locked up. That means you did something stupid. Depending on how long you were locked up, so you expect them to get blue ball weight on you? But yeah, if the case were to switch around, how many women wait for their man while they get locked up?
Not many.
Make it make sense. So what, he did that, and you screwed up. You did something stupid. That's just your fault. I ain't buying that nonsense. Nah. If you don't want him to step out, then don't step in the jammer. Keep us out of trouble. That way, you don't have to worry about him looking for someone else. It's what it is. I ain't buying that bullshit. I don't know what you crying for. You sure you don't have a girlfriend in prison?
Okay.
Let's not forget Remy Ma.
How long she went for?
They didn't mention that one either. Mm-hmm.
Right. We don't know how long she was in there for.
Okay then.
She I guess she thought she had a faithful man at home, and he had gotten with his ex.
So if she was locked up for a whole year, you should have blue ball wait for her for a whole year?
Well, we don't know if it was a year. I don't know if it was a year, but I mean,
you see what happened to Papoose? Trying to be faithful.
Huh?
You see what happened to Papoose? Trying to be faithful to a woman who got locked up and see how she act when she came out?
Mm-hmm.
That should be a lesson learned. Nah.
Well, she was okay. So the one who got locked up was the one, who pretty much wanted to know if he had been in communication with his ex, in which he was. I just feel like if you need proof, if you think that, if you got that such a strong inkling that this man is still talking to his ex, he probably still is talking to his ex. Like, I don't know why you would need 139 phone calls to have proof of that. You locked up, the man got needs. He not gonna go that long without his needs being met now. I don't know if I have conjugal visits or not, so I mean, at some point you had to realize you probably lose him. He's out here in this free world and you behind them bars, behind that wall. You had to kind of know that you were going to lose him. But there are men who, will string women along and they're not necessarily honest with them. And so, or not clear and concise. And so a lot of women are like, okay, so are we this? Are we that? I don't know if that's the proper way to go about, seeing where you are with someone, because a man is going to move when he wants to move when it comes to relationships and things of that nature. However, if the man is being honest in the beginning, then that definitely helps. But someone said, and a couple of people actually said that you both have to feel that way towards each other. And I would agree with that. A lot of times the feelings are unbalanced. You have unbalanced scales when you're dealing with a man and a woman and the longevity of their relationship.
Well, Precious, what you just said, both of those videos go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
If the first video is he's lying and doing the bull crap that the second video was talking about.
Right.
And the results is just that. It's like, if you can't be man enough to just be honest, then, you got some work to do. Mm-hmm. A lot of men don't know how to do that, don't know how to be honest for whatever reason. And I won't just say men are the only ones guilty of it, because women are the same way. But the point is that immaturity or those things cause a lot more problems. I'd rather you not like me because my truth is not what you wanted to hear than me sit there and be a full of crap person just to appease your feelings.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Same here. May not like me, but at least I told you the truth. But that's not the theology that men are walking around with. That a lot of men are, or I shouldn't say a lot of men, but a percentage of men are not walking around with that, in their mind. It's like deny. I'm not going to tell. What I do is business.
You're right, and that's why you always heard me say. And when I met, when we first came on video with a lot of the gentlemen, my thing was, who hurt you? Because it was about that. Yo, if I tell them something they ain't obliged it, I can't come back from that. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? Grow up. Mm-hmm. You got to learn how to come back from that. You got to learn how to get over when you get hurt. Right. But a lot of men just can't stomach that concept. And I get pushback from it all the time. But I push back with who hurt you, because that's all it boils down to, is you've been hurt and you don't want to get hurt again.
Listen, you know what? I mean, I think women gaslight men. Women today have rotations just like men do. I mean, I don't think there's any. I think if there's any equivalency in the dating market, what I'm hearing on these YouTube streets, that's the one thing. I think they're both lying to each other, right? And then, I think they lie to each other. I think women have rotations. They have a man for whatever season they need him for, and guys do, and not many guys have a rotation of women. Women have always going to have the upper hand when it comes to sexual relationships. Right, men, the average man doesn't have nearly the kind of chance to have sex like women do. So I don't see where we have just we get the onus of being some kind of cads all the time. A man who tells the truth to every woman, his thing is that a certain percentage of those women are not going to like the truth that he tells them, and that kind of guy understands and leaves a lot on the table. And I commend those kind of guys. I mean, I believe I was like one of those kind of guys. I know I could have told a lie and all those kind of things to try to get laid. I didn't like to do that. So I wanted to be able, if we parted, I'd like to part amicably. So But I left a lot on the table. I wasn't, I'm not a select guy, but I know a couple of the chicks. If you ain't, if they didn't get what they wanted out of me or where I had to lie, it was a no-go. I actually, listen, I wasn't no big lover, but I actually had a woman to tell me when I told her the truth. She said, well, you didn't have to be that true. You didn't really have to. I remember these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that, especially that was way back then. But today, I think men and women, they lie to each other all the time. I mean, both of them, almost equally. If they're single, you can't think your woman's just waiting for you to show up. She's banging somebody. And if you're lucky, you got somebody you're banging too. It's just as simple as that. That's why they can't get together, because there's no honesty on either side, I don't think. I believe that's where the big problem is. You can't trust somebody. It's hard to do it these days.
Mm-hmm. I think I would agree with that, but like we always say, women are looking for men to be leaders, right? So if men are lying about what they doing, women are just going to follow suit. Like, it's not going to be a you would think women would say, well, I'm not going to, be dishonest. I'm not going to I'm not going to take advantage. I'm not going to manipulate. But once it's being done on them, they're going to do it back to men. I'm not saying that it's right, but what you give as a man who are givers, what you give to a woman, she's only going to multiply it.
Yeah, but you're saying the man is doing it first, though. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're saying that she's only doing it because he's doing it. I don't believe that that's true.
In today's society, I believe women are acting the way that men have been acting towards them for years. And so now women are trying to get they lick back, or trying to one up the man, or trying to be the damn man. They are trying to do everything in their power to embody that man that done hurt them, done lied to them, done effed them over, done did all those things to them.
Yeah,
women are trying to now embody that. So what I'm saying is, a man did have to do it to them in order for them to now want to get their get back. Because a lot of times, if you're going to give a woman honesty, she should give you honesty back. Now, if you just with somebody that's just a liar, and she's just a no good type of woman, then that's on you. That's
okay, but Precious, but your premise is based on a woman who's been through a lot of men to have that trauma, so she doesn't trust the new guy that she's with. Right? I mean, that's what that premise is. Most men don't come into those relationships with a whole bunch of bodies. A lot of guys, their bodies come, the average dude doesn't get as much sex as the average woman who's active. It's just true. Right? It's absolutely true. And then for a woman to say,
where do you get these facts from, Payne?
Listen, the average guy doesn't get nearly as much sex. I mean, listen, you could go on there and say men from 18 to 30, there's 30% of them ain't getting no box at all. That's where the insult. They don't have what's the corresponding
these numbers from?
Just go look up in Google, man. Just look up and you can find it. You'll find it, and you look it up. You look up on Google, and they'll tell you the sources of where these numbers come from. So you don't have to believe them. I mean, it's just there. I mean, and all studies say that. So all I'm just trying to say is, Pressure, I understand what you're saying. If a man is righteous with a woman, he should expect her to be righteous with him. I don't believe that's true anymore. I really don't. Because there are righteous guys getting burned all the time, finding out that women have a couple of guys in the back door and all that stuff. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Black David.
So how do you with this woman? How did she enter your righteous courts of holiness, and she got all these back? I don't want to how did you know?
I mean, if she's bringing her trauma to the new guy, then he has nothing to do with her past trauma. She's putting it on him. He's got to be some, I mean, that doesn't mean he ain't lying to her. So she has her feelers out for him to lie, right? But if she gets into it, but then she also is protecting herself by having a roster. That's what I think.
Can I tell you something here? Because, like I said before, what group of men are referring to? Because, for one, our parents did say something that's entirely correct. A lot of these women are dating a specific group of men who they have these negative experience with. And when, how would I say this? After done with the trash, they want a man of quality, right? The man who took the time to build himself. I said it before on one other panel before. We had different sections of men that are out there. The question is, what are these women are going after? The talking point I'm seeing on these YouTube streets, they're not going after the intellectual lame ass. That's the one who buried themselves in a book. That's the one who are considered to be a nerd, whatever you want to call them. And they see those one back in middle school, high school, and college, right? Those one are not popular. They don't have this swag, right? They focus on their goal and their agenda, what they want to accomplish. They're the one who actually made up the ladder, they're making the money. So those are the one of the women are chasing after they don't play their dirt. And let's be honest, those type of guys who barely date anybody, I will say, don't have a lot of experience in dating, which they call them intellectual lame ass. That's the term they be using. So if the man who have been busy building himself up from ground up for the past 5-6 decades, they be saying man ain't shit in the mainstream media. So man had to build himself up so it won't be the man ain't shit type of guy who barely be in the dating pool, who died the dating pool.
But how does the guy who hasn't been in the dating pool end up with
decide to define that special one? Sometimes don't have the right group of men, don't have the right group of brothers out there or men who can help them, let them know, no, she's not for you. Some of them go by in the dating pool by themselves, pick one, not realize she had a roster. They're the ones who are more driven. They don't got time to be hanging out on the street.
Oh no, I'm
just
not
saying.
lying. Because how you not have dating experience, but then you pick the liar and the one who just been hurt up and down these streets. Like you wouldn't even attract that if that's not what you've been dealing with, if that's not what you're not used to that. So I think that men do need to take accountability, and there are women who are liars. There are women who lie to you, but up front, like the guy was saying in the video, if you weren't worried about other BS or other, lies and things that you're trying to get off on this woman, you could probably have a successful relationship with one woman. Now, if you are attracting a liar and things of that nature, you have to ask yourself, okay, like why am I attracting this kind of female? Like, why do I even have her in my, why are we together? What's the spark? What's the cord? What's the common ground here? Because you can't tell me somebody that hasn't been in the dating market and been having sex, then got swindled by a habitual liar or somebody that got all this trauma on her. She should look a certain way, talk a certain way, have a certain type of, pizzazz to her, rather than a man who hasn't had that much experience, ain't out here having sex. What are you being influenced by?
Well, first you got to realize these guys who's talking what they look like. If they look like what they look like, man, they ain't getting shit. So they happy just to get what they can get, and they gotta accept it. They gotta accept the goods and the bads. I mean, if you look like the way these dudes looking, you ain't got no choice. They gotta accept that bullshit. Me, shit. I'll leave the F at the restaurant in the goddamn minute. I'm not accepting this bullshit. Come to you live if you want to, and once I find out, I will adjust accordingly. But these dudes, I'm looking at Payne and Black David. Yeah, they ain't got no choice. They gotta accept all that bullshit and be victims and grab ankles.
I knew you was going there. Over 20-something years,
and Black David 20-some years. Hopefully they learned a thing or two. If they didn't, they need to make sure they subscribe to Hick in the Basement so I can educate these old heads on how to operate and move correctly. If not, they're gonna keep on being this sad sack of shit what they are right now, in the studio, looking all goddamn pitiful. God damn, boy. Y'all dudes need to break the hell up, man. Look, I don't understand this at all. A man shouldn't be moved by what a woman does say. They shouldn't. And if you are, that's why you're in the issue what you are now. Because you operate on everything a woman needs to operate on how you move. You don't operate on how a woman moves. They move to your beat of your drum. So when I move, you better move correctly or you will get left behind. It is what it is, man. But if y'all don't move like it, then don't be mad at the results you're getting. If she lying to you, figure out she lying, why you still dealing with her? Don't go back. Don't fall for the apology. Don't fall for those puppy dog eyes. Don't fall for that bullshit. Let her be. Find another victim to lie to. I'm not that guy. Don't come with that shit. If you on up and up, man, hopefully she should be on up and up. And she shouldn't be married to you. She shouldn't have your last name and she ain't on the up and up. If you just dating and she's doing all this trifling, scandalous stuff, why are you still with her? You're a glutton for punishment. You asking for it. Now I'm starting to think that shit, you into that shit. You like to be lied to. You like to be played around with. You like to be one of many of for people on the phone. You like it because you staying in that situation when you don't have to. But some of you guys, the way you look, you feel like you have no choice. Because probably first time you ever got somebody who looks like a goddamn high 3 or a low 4. So you looking like a 2. You like, man, I gotta accept it.
You Mr. Extreme Hank, man. Why don't we put extreme in front of the Hank, man? Extreme, man.
I mean, in fairness, he's not being extreme. I see his point, and it's very clear. That's why I said, where do you get these numbers from? Where do you get these men that you speak? Yeah, but stop Googling them because it doesn't. It's not really the case. It's not really.
You think men are getting as much sex as women are? They're not.
Pain, yes, they are. Especially nowadays when they have a lot of money. Yes, they are. Maybe
most men don't have a lot of money.
Okay, that's back in your day. Now men have money.
Most men today, no, they don't.
And women and a lot of women are thirsty for it, and they're easily to get sex with it. I don't know what you thinking about.
I agree with that, but a lot of men don't have money.
So
broke guys.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, you got to realize it. You just got chicken gizzards and you got women. So all they need is a half-ass job.
Well, that's true. That's true.
That's true. So if you could get it with chicken gizzards, they could get it with a half-ass piece of job, a McDonald's job, and they're getting some bottom.
Okay.
So
I'll concede that part. I hear you.
Hey, you must have been getting some homeless women or something to feed these goddamn chicken gizzards and shit.
Man, I was pretty good back in the day, man.
These are homely looking women.
No, man. No, I did pretty damn good, man. I really did. I swear.
You did good. Why wouldn't you think that the guys?
Because I liked all the women I've said this before. I like all the women. I mean, I was just one of those kind of guys. I told women the truth. And I liked them. I was just maybe in the right place at the right time. And I always shot above my, I always outkicked my coverage. I always outkick my coverage, always. You know, I mean, I was just one of those kind of guys. So, but I didn't have to lie for it. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about, you know, if you're truthful, I agree with you. If you're truthful with a lady, hopefully you should be truthful with you. But I never underestimate what a person is going to do. I mean, you never know. You never know all of it. Just never know until you do know. And that's when I'm married. That's when I got married. You know, so I never had those expectations of just, women I was just randomly with. You know, so maybe that's my mindset. But now, man, I had some pretty girlfriends. Man. I don't want to hear none of this shit, Hank. I was all right.
You had some looks. You had some goddamn looks. You need to stop.
It had nothing. But in fairness, it had nothing to do with your looks.
A pot to piss in or window throw it out of you.
I'm sorry.
You know,
Chicken gizzard. That's a
but it
low
had
blow.
nothing to
Cooking chicken. You
Hey,
talk about
but
they fell in love with chicken.
man. Hey, the way I made them, shit, they were good. If it tastes
This
like
shit wasn't
steak.
no special thing they had down that Popeye's chicken. You need to stop this shit.
We had churches down in
I've
Cornwall.
never had chicken gizzard. That's not even something I would eat. That's not something I'd be like.
When you was paying your dollars out of with no money in college, that was good.
If you was homeless, you eat them. That's how Payne got these women.
I wasn't homeless. I had a place to cook them. I had a place
Nah. It wasn't. It wasn't the homelessness. It was the fact that they were young. So they didn't love him. They just loved his chicken gizzards.
Anyway, man, listen, I hear you, Precious. I hear what you're talking, and Mr. Hink over here going deep off the deep end. But
they was at the bucket shaking and shit.
I do. All right, man.
I'm sorry.
That chicken gizzard. I appreciate you having me tonight. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Hey, y'all guys, y'all be easy, man.
Oh, you gotta go ahead, man. Yeah, take it
Peace out, Hank.
So we're gonna get into
I need to go to Hink's channel so I can horn his ass over there, man. That's what I need to do.
We're gonna get into this last topic, and then we're gonna get out.
Wow. I'm sorry. The chicken gizzard messed me up real bad. That's a low blow.
I mean, I haven't had some in a long time. Now I'm getting nostalgic. I might smoke some, man. Who knows? If I can find them.
All right.
Don't do it. You want to keep your wife. Don't do it. She gonna divorce you. What the hell you ain't doing my laundry. You ain't and you're giving me chicken, is it? Boy, you got to go.
She'll like them. She'll love them. Oh, honey, you could cook, man. She make chicken gizzards taste like steak.
All right, so we're going to I'm going to play this clip. Now, this is a former OnlyFans model.
Okay.
Husband, from my knowledge, from what she was saying in the video, left her because he was standing on business. But I want you guys to hear the background story and how she really does a transformation. When I was listening to her, I didn't even think she was an OnlyFans model until I saw other videos of her. And she tries to give women a message and all of this.
Husband was the enemy because I had to change so much. And I also felt like spiritually that when we got married, all this stuff was coming out of me that was ugly. And instead of like, oh, maybe I'm ugly, instead I was like, you're making me ugly. It's you. Like I was hearing stuff differently. Like when he would say certain things, it would take me back to my childhood, which is why I had to touch on it a little bit. I was used to like explosive moods, right? Because you had a parent who, both parents are like this actually, but it's either a 10 or like, depression, right? So it was explosive reaction. So when my husband would just say, hey, I don't like that you did something, I would hear, I hate you, like you're the worst person ever. I would just hear this explosiveness. And I was just like, I could not hear things new, like at this level. I didn't heal. I didn't heal. And so I thought he was my enemy. And now I'm yelling at him. I'm deeply insecure. I'm also have an ego, so I'm like, you know what? I think that I should be in a marriage where someone just accepts me for all that I am. I don't have to change, and I feel good about myself, and you love me 24/7. You're just giving me nothing but love and happiness, and I'm not feeling that way. I feel like, I feel like I have to change too much. I have to be better, and maybe this is. I told him, and this is what a narcissist says: is like, this is who I am, and I'm not going to change. If you don't accept me, then I'm not for you. And so I got to a place where I was like, you're my enemy and you just need to get out. And he left. Like, I packed up all his stuff. I was like, leave. So I could feel like I could be myself. I want to go back to my old ways. I want to be me again. And so he left because he fought so hard. And he was like, I'm fighting someone who doesn't want this marriage. So he just left.
You're on mute.
So sorry. I wanted to talk about that clip before we go on to the second one, because I saw that one first, and she's talking about how she has these explosive moments, and how she just wanted her husband to accept that, and if he didn't accept it, then he could leave, and he did just that. She thought that, that her husband was her enemy when she really had to heal. Now, is that something that you guys come across with women, or have come across, where women do not know how to regulate their emotions, and instead of regulating them, they will have those outbursts, act like a child, tell you to leave, things of that nature? Have you guys dealt with that at all?
70-80% of the time, especially with women over 40 who are not involved or who are not married right now. Yes.
40, you say?
Who are over 40
That have outbursts like that?
that do not know how to handle. Yes, absolutely. That's why remember when I always say it's hard out here? That's part of what I'm referring to, because there's a lot of unhealed women, especially, like I said, when they're over 40, and I use that number specifically because that's when they're kind of set in their ways and believe some of the stuff that you just heard the young lady say.
Oh wow! So, okay, so I mean, I know you're over 40. So is that the target age you look to date? I mean, if you're having that issue with women that are that age, is that the target age, or do you alter your dating age bracket, or is it, I mean, because you just went straight to the over 40, I would think it would be younger than that.
That's because that's my preference. So I do pay attention to them more so than any, because I'm not really that interested in younger. But and younger is pretty easy. Younger are cooperative. Younger are not as deeply hurt by their unhealed pains, or they're willing to listen to try and get some resolution. There's so many hardened hearts when you're that age or older, often, that it becomes a difficult process. It's not I haven't given up, because I can see the pain and I can understand it, but it does take the revelation that young lady said that she had in order for the process to start. And unfortunately, that was remarkable, hearing her say that and taking the accountability for what she was doing, because a lot of women don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Seemed like she took accountability too late. Lost her marriage.
Not her. I think she got her marriage back because she took accountability. But the point that
I didn't see that in the video. So.
No, I didn't see it in the video either. I just seemed like that's what they were talking about. She was recognizing how she changed and why she changed, is what I was seeming to imply. But what I will say is that also, in addition to that, because of what we was just talking about, a lot of men sometimes have been the author of those sentiments, those feelings, and that disappointment and pain that they're unhealed from. And so that's why I sometimes give grace when I do see it, because often they don't come with that pain being exposed, so they can show you the beautiful side of them. But then when you trigger that pain, that's when it comes out. And when it comes out, it's disastrous. It can be very harmful.
Yeah, I just can't get with blaming men for all the women's trauma. Like they,
I know you can't, but
I don't know what her trauma. I don't. I think her trauma seemed like was self-inflicted from her parents or whatever. But what I'm saying is, listen, if the older people get, both men and women, the more set there in their ways, whether it's trauma or not. Mm-hmm. So that's why if you're gonna, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a spouse or and stuff like that, if you're looking over 40, you're gonna what was a screen door when you were in your 20s becomes like a vault door when you're in your 40s. In order for you to mesh, you got to move a much heavier weight on both sides to get to the point where y'all can get some synergy.
Mhm.
But when you're younger, you got more, malleability and stuff like that. And that's why it's better to get together younger before the trauma, if we're going to use that word. But experiences in themselves, good or bad, tend to make you tend to shape your world for you. And it's not that easy to change it the older you get. It's just as simple as that, whether you have trauma or not.
Right.
So I'm just saying, I think we put too much on the trauma thing. I think sometimes we say that, when women talk about trauma, everybody thinks it's a man's fault that got them there. Like they were just like puppets in the air and shit, and they didn't have no responsibility for it. I can't stand it.
And I can't stand and pain. In all seriousness, I can't. No. Let me just say this. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but let me say this, Bush.
No, you're not.
Because but I know I am, because you say this all the time, but yet you condone some of the actions that traumatize these women. You condone, they're young. We had this conversation before. You condone, they're young, they're players, and they can do that. That's what they're supposed to do. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit, though.
I didn't say they're supposed to do anything. You said that. I didn't say that. I'm just saying.
No. In the past, you have said.
Hold on. We don't have no evidence of that. What I'm saying is, I'm an advocate for people getting together earlier, but nobody tells them that anymore, right? If somebody's 22, 23, people, both men and women, are going to tell them go enjoy life and fool around. That's where the trauma comes from, because nobody tells them when they're young to get together anymore. Their parents.
You're correct. My mistake. I apologize.
So all I'm just saying is, just back to this point. I've heard just back to that lady. I'm still not clear on why she's got all this trauma. She said she sounds like a narcissist. Well, maybe she got that from her parents. Maybe there's something else. Is she an OnlyFans person? Right. She didn't mention that though, but.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. It's coming right after that.
Well, so yeah, I'll wait to that part, that segment, because that will give me a better picture. So a lot of the position that she's in, she put herself in, right? And now she's taking it out on her husband, saying, "Listen, I expect more from you," and she didn't want to hear that. Now, let me tell you, you asked a question, though, Precious. Listen, I've been married for a long time. My wife is not a narcissist, but she doesn't like to be corrected. Right, so when we don't have to correct it that much. Our shit is real small, tiddlywit stuff. But when I tell her stuff, she does the same thing a lot of women do. Well, what about you? What about all this shit? I said, well, if I was doing something you didn't like, how come you waiting for me to tell you something to bring it up? Right? Because that shifts the conversation. So I don't let her do that. Right? And I said, listen, after we finish this shit, if you got a list of shit that I need to do better, we could address that after we're finishing this conversation right now. Right? That's how I always diffuse that, right? So you could come back to it. But I think it's a tendency with women, not because it's a bad thing. I just think in general, I think on these YouTube streets where we say women don't like accountability, I just think it's a natural trait that too many men let them off the hook, or people in general let them off the hook, where instead of just keep going until they take accountability. And it doesn't have to be that contentious. You just don't let them off the hook.
And Payne, I stand corrected, and I apologize. You do advocate for getting into relationships, but what I was referring to was when you said every man lies for the box. Do you recall that?
I didn't say, I don't recall that. I said men do lie for the box. I said, but not every man. I didn't say every man do, but every.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But I said, but here's what I really said. I said both people lie to each other. But I said my main thing was I don't think men have as much sex as women do. The rank and file. I think there's some men who have a lot of sex, and they're the select guys, and then there's some other guys who have to, shoot, man, they gotta pledge allegiance to the flag. I mean, I just think that's the way it is. I mean, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Everybody ain't gonna be a select man. you know.
And I see your point, and I guess I do sometimes speak from the point of select men because of the industry that I'm from, and being in the industry since I was about 17, I've dealt with a lot of men who had selections, who had and who abused those selections.
I would agree with that. They
know.
Sure do. A lot of them damn sure do. There's no doubt about it.
And then I dealt with, and then I saw some of the women that were great women who listened to the lies of the abuse, and that's what I speak to. Not that everyone is doing it. I agree with you that everyone doesn't do it, but those who do it, like that second man said in the video, we need to stop the BS, and we need to start confronting the BS that we do.
I agree. I agree with that. I could agree with that.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on to the second video here, because from that first video, I wouldn't have thought she was an OnlyFans. She did say she needed to heal, but then I saw this video and I was like, okay, it does make sense.
A lot of people know you from OnlyFans.
Right.
You know, the content that you had at that time, you were getting millions of views. Just want you to really tell the girlies, like, what was that transformation like? The process of coming from all of the things that you were doing that you know that's not stuff that you wanted to do at that time.
Right.
Up to now.
I was also chasing whatever hole I had. Like, I was trying to fill it with the likes and the follows, and just seeing that blow up was very addictive, because why would you leave? You're getting $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. Why would you leave? Like, once I started, I wanted more and more and more. Like, it was never filling. I never felt full. Like, I'm bringing in $10,000. I want $20,000. I'll do more for $20,000. And it's like, when is enough? Money would be given to me, but then I felt like I was compromising morals, or people are looking like. I remember one time walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and this guy recognized me from my OnlyFans, and he was just like, "Oh, you want to hop in my car and like sleep with you? Like, how much to pay for a night with you?"
Oh
like,
my gosh,
and
what
I was
did
like,
you say?
I was just like, dang, that's what people think about me, Like, I'm doing OnlyFans, that's what people think about me, and is that who I
you
am?
are,
Like,
yeah.
I was just like, what? Even when I started OnlyFans, because someone else told me to, they're like, you would make so much money, you should do that. You have a bomb body, like, go do it. And I was listening to what everybody thought my life should be, you know what I mean? And or you have a big butt, like, you would be fired, doing bikini photos, show your butt, angle like this. And I just lived and then I would get so many likes, and all these people liked me for it. And it's just like, I wanted to be liked and loved so bad, but I never felt full off of their love. Like, I just didn't. And I came to a place really fast where I was getting burnt out, because I felt good momentarily. Like, that post felt good momentarily, the dollar feels good momentarily, but none of it is fulfilling. And that's when I knew very quickly, like, I'm only gonna find love in, like, the Most High, like, in God. And that transition was so hard, though, because you're letting go of so much,
So she talks about the transition of OnlyFans to letting go of OnlyFans. What you got to say, RP?
You know what I was going to ask did she get married after OnlyFans or not?
Yeah, after, yes.
And so she was. Listen, you know what? There's this porn star named Riley Reid, right? She's an old porn star. Yeah, I know her name, right? If she could get married, anybody could get married. That's all I can say. And I don't know how the guy could do it, but if she can get married, anybody could get married and have a baby and be in love with this dude. But I think part of her story, getting back to her, is it'd be hard for me. She has the right person that she's talking to, because half the shit she said, I'm saying, what are you talking about? You nobody made you do OnlyFans. You did it. Why would you have expectations that somebody's going to treat you other than the way you portray yourself? I mean, you know what I'm saying? To hear us say that back, as if she shouldn't have expected that you're not going to be treated anything other than what you portray. Now, I don't know what kind of OnlyFans she was. If she was making $30,000, she was doing some serious stuff. It had to be more than just naked pictures. It had to be. And if she made 10, she wanted to make 20, that means she had to up the ante. So I don't know if she was doing stuff with guys and all that kind of stuff with girls. She had to be in some kind of contact. But it couldn't have just been naked pictures. You can get that anywhere. So I'm just saying, the guy who married her, I would have questions for him as well. And then she putting all that stuff on him, Anyway, but that's another story. I think she should be able to have redemption, but I don't think she's still taking full accountability for it. It doesn't sound like that to me. It really doesn't.
Well, I hear you, and I'm not one to judge on her scenario, but what I observe is somebody who is trying to get redemption and understanding, and the reason why, again, I can understand it, not because I've seen it done with women, I've seen it done with men. And I've seen a lot of men compromise their integrity to get fame and fortune. I've seen a lot of women compromise their integrity to get fame and fortune. And the one thing that she was saying, she didn't identify a gender, but I can assume when she said, "Oh, they told me you have a good body," that was a woman who told her that.
Yeah.
That would be my assumption. "Oh, you got a nice butt, you should do this." That's a woman who tells her that. And the point that was being said earlier, women need to check women and men need to check men. Yo, dog, that's why I said you don't need to lie. Stop the nonsense. Tell the truth and get what you want. And the same with her. The women need to tell her, yo, you don't need to be going out there and abusing the fact that you're cute. Abusing your moral and compromising your moral and your integrity because of money. But to her point, the reason why I can't judge it is because it is addictive. It is like a drug.
I'm sure.
Money is like a drug, and so is sex. Sex is like a drug. And you can become addicted to both or at the same time. And when you got addicted to both of them at the same time, it is a hard thing to reverse from. Power is the last drug that's addictive. And with that money and with that money and being able to control the sex, the power behind that is really addictive and is stronger than heroin. When you look in the mirror, say, "Here I am," and not realize what you become, as Jay-Z will put it.
Yeah, she definitely is trying to talk to women in regards to her experience, right? So she's saying that she's gone through this OnlyFans and she was never filled. There was a void. She knew she could make more money. She would just keep going and keep going. Then the moment of reality hit when she, in real life, out in these streets, and somebody recognizes her from OnlyFans. And so she got convicted from that. But there's a lot of women who don't get convicted. They don't care that they're on OnlyFans. They don't care that they see, that you may see them in public and recognize them from OnlyFans. Yet they probably don't have the same conviction that this girl has either. Because for her to say, okay, us as women need to not require something from a man when we haven't healed yet. You don't see women who have never done OnlyFans, admitting that that's something that women need to fix or draw attention to, or just look at their inner selves. So I played this because for her to admit that is not something that women usually, take that road and do. They don't usually admit that, hey, we need to be different because this is what's at stake. Or my husband left me because I told him that I could do it all by myself and I just go back to who I was and I'm not changing for you. He stood on business with that, and a lot of men won't stand on business with that. They will be, probably a little bit miserable in that relationship instead of saying, you know what, I'm gonna have to. We know CBN would have told her straight up. You ain't all that in a bag of chips, so pipe down, sis. That's what he would have said. But you know,
let me just say this. Let me just say this. I'm glad you showed those two videos because I know that it is becoming a very slow but growing trend. A lot of women are doing it as a side hustle, either to help pay college or the job they have is not doing enough. And these are people who are lawyers, nurses, school teachers, police officers, you name it, they are doing it as a side hustle. And it's becoming a growing trend so bad. It's not just OnlyFans. There's a thing called Lawyer Fan. There's other platforms that are doing this. Yeah, I'm a tech guy, so I know that some of these new platforms is based on what OnlyFans been doing, and they want a piece of the pie too as well. So there's some of these things are out there, but they don't realize the moment you start to do this thing, you automatically stain yourself. And they complain about why they can't find quality men. Like earlier before, you were attracting the man who had no experience in the dating pool, aka virgins. They're the one that call intellectual lame ass. When they get tested through this dating pool, they went after 1 or 2 times, and they realize this is the norm. What do you think the next step is? Get their passport and leave if they have the financial to do such a thing. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like this came out of nowhere. This happened during the great financial crisis that happened back in 2008, 2009. There have been platforms that build the roadmap for OnlyFans to be about. A lot of women have been doing it for a while to make extra money on the side. But they forget that if you get recognized in the street, God forbid, you get in a girl, she didn't tell you she's doing that. And some dude came across, what the 15th thing come to his mind?
Sex.
And God forbid she lied. It's only one platform, but she had like 6, 7 other platforms that she pulling money for X, Y, and Z. And I'm seeing young college women are doing that. I thought it was a joke. I said, let me do a research and see how many people are doing this thing right now on the side. It's a lot of them are doing it. And most of these people have jobs. Maybe because the job is not giving enough money, they do it on the side. There's a few police officers lost their job because of that.
Oh, wow.
Even nurses are losing their job because of that too as well.
Teachers.
So it kind of like it's weird, but these platforms are creating the type of woman you have in today's society within the United States. Too many people are doing it. What do you expect the outcome going to be within the dating pool? And she said she was making 10 grand a month. That went for 20, went for 30. Definitely, she's doing something extra. There's no way you're not doing so much more than what you're supposed to do to get more money coming in, which is facts.
Because we talked about expectations, right? So if you're making this type of money and that's what you're putting out there to make this money, then your what are your real expectations of a man if they're giving you money for, pictures or videos of
bingo?
What exactly are you expecting, from a man? And that out in real life for her, and her man was like, all right, I'm out. If this is what you're expecting from me, then I'm good, because he probably knows better quality than someone who is just wants to put their body on OnlyFans,
But it's just more than just OnlyFans, because shout out, I hate to date it, but shout out to Fashion Fit and whatever podcast. They put that exposure out there because there's too many young women in their 20 and 30 are doing it right now. And yes, those in the 40 are doing the same exact thing. But when you have people, because of financial situation, I got to do something. They don't want to take the hard working route because it's not bringing in enough money. They want to get into the fast lane. That is the fast lane to them.
Well, a lot of them are not making a lot of money, but for her to meet a guy that recognizes from OnlyFans, she had to have a big platform.
She might be doing a little extra than what other people are not.
Not just what she was doing extra. She has to have a lot of subscribers. a lot. To just randomly meet somebody that could recognize you, you got a big platform.
He talked about how, you know, when a guy sees her video, it's almost like, you know, he's got his fill. So now she needs to put out another video to be either memorable or so that he can go back on her page, because once he's seen her, it's like, all right, I'm good off of you. I'll go to somewhere else.
Yeah, that's just the nature of prawn. That's the nature of that whole industry. And you know what? Here's the thing I think is true, though. The women who work in those industries, they actually begin to loathe men in general. I believe they start to loathe men in general, dislike or whatever, because they see the worst in men.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know.
Even though
and that's as simple as that. I think it makes sense. You know, if you're a stripper, you see guys coming to see you, you know why you're doing it. And sometimes it's out of desperation. Sometimes you like it. But I think they actually don't really like the men who come to see them.
But even though they've seen the worst of men, it's still not an excuse, because let's be real, not every man go to the strip club. I don't like the idea of it.
Yeah, but we ain't talking about you.
No, I'm one of the many examples. There are men out there who don't go to the strip clubs.
Okay.
Who just don't. But the problem is, a lot of women make that excuse. Oh, we saw the worst of men. Question you ask, what group of men are you referring to? Because there are a group of men who would like to go to the strip club, who like to pay for OnlyFans and then some. And there's another group who don't partake in that.
Yeah, I hear you.
The strip club, and then the men who just don't want to go out and they would rather look at OnlyFans because they don't want to be in the actual strip. So
you know, you know, Black David, we say about the modern woman in the West that even though there's some good women out there, we can't find them because they hide behind the bad ones, right? There's so many men who are horny and starved for women, and there's millions of them. So to ask that woman that, you know, she could say the same thing. There's some good men out there, but I got so many millions of likes. I don't know which the good ones from the bad ones. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so that's just the way it. I mean, the society has normalized sex, which I think was inevitable. You know, I just think that we're going down that road where everything's going to be legalized at one point. You wait till they make a life-size doll for, you know, for guys. They're gonna forget about women altogether. You know, I'm telling you. You know, I believe that's where, you know, men have decided, you know what, it's not worth my a lot of stuff, man. Some men are going without, which is dangerous too. You know, so I don't know. I think we're on this road in the West, you know, so it's going to be interesting in the next few years. So,
all right, we're gonna get to final thoughts. It's getting late.
I was laughing because I see what Manila could say in the chat room. I'm like,
okay, should be the only strip club to partake in.
Yeah, that's true.
If you find a good one to do it for
Why
you,
go to the strip club and pay all that money? Like, you got to pay money to get in, then you got to throw it on. You got, you know,
astronomical prices of drinks, everything.
The price of drink are ridiculous. What you buy outside for $2, they'll charge you $20 for.
Yeah, more than that.
Wait. I have to say and make this claim. There are some strip clubs that have great food.
Yeah, that is true, which is real crazy. You know, they do. I mean, especially in Atlanta, I heard that, you know, they're the mothers of chicken.
Atlanta, what?
Yeah, some have great food.
I understood T-Pain.
Get great food, then you ain't.
I understand T-Pain's song when I went to Atlanta. I'm in love with a stripper. Man.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. We'll start with CBN, then we'll go to Sean, then we'll end with R-Pain.
Final thoughts. If you're a hardworking man, you're making good money, you cannot find a woman here that worth your time, Would be on your program, get your passport and leave. I'm just saying.
Are you planning that soon?
Or just be a monk. Just keep to yourself. Either the two. I'm just saying.
Passport and leave, or be a monk.
That's just crazy.
I'm just saying, because I don't have the patience for nonsense. I don't got the patience for BS. Don't waste my time. At my age, 45.
You're good off that. Gotcha. All right, Sean. Final thoughts, sir?
Oh man, I guess my final thoughts are: keep it real with me. I keep it real with you. That's it. And I pray, honestly, I pray that Lord prepare me for my wife, and that He prepares my wife for me, and that I too can have some of the joy that Payne and CBN have in marriage. Unfortunately, like we described in a lot of this video, the pickings are thin, but I'm not. But I'm still hopeful. So those are my final thoughts.
Yeah, so I guess same here. I mean, I think there's a way for us to get men and women to stop the gender war. I know there's women out there who want to be married. There's men out there who want to be married. Somehow there's got to be, not dating apps, there's got to be a way to get those kind of people with those kind of thoughts together more often. And especially in the modern era, I think they should also understand that they have different pressures than we did in the past. But if you're honest, and this is where the honesty comes in on both sides, you're honest with each other. Say, listen, for a guy, if you want to be a leader, say, listen, if we're going to be together, I expect you to get rid of your rotation. And I expect you, and if you can't do that, then let's just move on. Right? Just like I said to guys who trying to find a wife, and if she's a single mother or whatever, I said, if you don't like single mothers, don't even start a relationship with the woman. Right? Because if she's going to end up liking you, and if you can't go no further, then you shouldn't start one in the first place. Right? Go keep looking for your own family to create. So those are the kind of honesty things I would say. So, I mean, I've been married for a long time, but I don't, other than technology, the interaction between men and women, I think, has natural roots, even today. I mean, everybody's trying to make it into some supernatural kind of shit. That's bullshit. Men and women want to be together. We just want to be together without any rules. And that's the thing that's wrong. And it's outside of nature. That's why so many of those relationships are messed up. Because nobody wants to take roles and no one wants to put rules on each other. And that's crazy. You can't have a real relationship without it. So anyway, so that's my final thoughts. And so Wednesday, me and the daughter's going to go hang out. Precious. So yeah, we're going to go hang out. So she actually, so she's looking forward to it. So we're going to hang out. So
that's good news. I'm glad that you guys are going to be hanging out because it starts, I think, we talked about this last week, but relationships, the root word in it is relate. And so you do have to find a way to relate. And that does start in the home life, and it doesn't stop when your kids get to a certain age. You got to continue that, because now they're going to be looking for their own relationships and things of that nature, and need that example. They need that picture in motion, so they know how it's supposed to go and what it's supposed to look like and feel like, and how it's just supposed to go, right? So when you're talking to your daughters about chivalry, they be like, no, chivalry ain't dead, because my dad opened the doors for me, and I'm gonna be looking for a man to do the same thing for me then. But it's just good that you guys are doing that. But my final thoughts for this show is going to be like all my shows, how I close all my shows: be real with yourself so you can be real with others. You got to be real with yourself before you can be real with others. And that's the only way you can really be in a successful relationship with somebody. I think a lot of people, before they lie to somebody else, they be lying to themselves. You're lying to yourself. And now you're trying to force this lie on somebody else and make this relationship work. And it ain't going to work because you're not being real with yourself. And so, you know, at the end of the day, everybody, even this one girl who was the OnlyFans model, married and things like that, she had to be real herself. She had to say, this good man, look, I'm the OnlyFans model. I'm the one out here, you know, putting my body out here for people to pay for. And I have this good man, and I'm expecting things from him that I shouldn't be expecting because I didn't heal myself. So we have to always, from day one, no matter who you dealing with, your mama, your dad, you got to be real with yourself so you can be real with them. Because honestly, to me, that's the true expression of love. You can't really love someone in a healthy way until you love yourself in a healthy way.
I agree.
Right? Men can't love women in a healthy way until they love themselves in a healthy way. So whatever you got to do to get to yourself to that point, then that's when you'll finally be able to open the pathway to to love a woman. Same thing with a woman. You can't healthily love a man if you don't know how to love yourself in a healthy way. If you don't have a healthy vision and mindset of yourself, it's just not going to work. There's always going to be a roadblock because there's going to be a door that you haven't opened and explored what's behind that door. Because scared, you're trying to, you know, procrastinate, you got anxiety, you want to detach before you attach in a healthy way. So those will always be my closing words. You know, be real with yourself so you can be real with others, because that's the only way you're really going to have healthy relationships, no matter if they're romantic, platonic, you know, a parent child relationship. You just got to be real with yourself. And then once you do that, all other things should flow the way that they should flow. You should be able to tell people no. You should be able to say that with confidence and that be a full sentence. No, period. You should, you know, your yes should be your yeses. What you will tolerate is what you will tolerate. What you won't tolerate is what you're going to walk away from quickly, abruptly. Don't give it time. You know, these are things that happen when you're real with yourself, and other people are not going to like you when you're real with yourself. They're going to like you when you're, you know, on their bandwagon and when you're yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, to them. But you're going to have to cut them ties, and you're going to have to cut, you know, those patterns that you have been practicing for a long time in order to really get yourself on track in order to have healthy relationships. And I think everyone deserves a healthy relationship. I think everybody deserves a healthy relationship, but it's going to start with you first. And if you're not having healthy relationships, then definitely looking in the mirror is the first place to start, because there's always something to learn. We should be students to life, and we should always be learning. So I appreciate those who have watched on Facebook. I see we got some likes on there. Those who have joined in from the linked pages, whether it's Hank page, Sean, I think your LinkedIn, King, I think he has his pages linked LinkedIn on here. So I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone who is in the chats. Joe Mama said his final thought is be kind to yourself and each other. Yes. Be kind to yourself and each other. A lot of people are hard on themselves and they don't even realize how hard they're being on themselves. But, you know, it's God give us this day our daily bread. So don't worry about tomorrow. Just worry about today. Don't stress about what's tomorrow, because you can't control tomorrow. Just handle what's going on today. And what's going on today is that you need to be in good health in order to love others in good health. All right, y'all. So again, I appreciate y'all. And I'm going to say it one more time before we get out of here. Be real with yourself so you can be real with others. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.